3, 2, live.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. This is our last school board meeting of the current school board before we swear in our new members on Thursday. And we are holding this meeting in accordance with the governor's executive order that allows for online meetings. Dr. Severe, could you go ahead and call the roll for us now?
Dr. Gentry?
Present.
Dr. Gentry's present. Ms. Elrod?
Present.
Ms. Elrod's present. Ms. Spearing?
Present.
Spearing's present. Dr. DeBon-McKinney?
Present.
Dr. DeBon-McKinney's present. Ms. Buggs?
Present.
Ms. Buggs is present. Ms. Bush?
Present.
Ms. Bush is present. Ms. Player-Peters? I think I'd seen she had not joined yet. Ms. Pooper-Walker?
Present.
Ms. Pooper-Walker's present. Ms. Frog?
Thank you.
Madam Chair, you have 8 members present.
Okay, thank you very much. We're going to start tonight with a special recognition of Dr. Eric Huth, and I'm going to turn it over right now to Jill Spearing, who is a trustee on the MNPS Insurance Trust.
Thank you, Ms. Frog. As a lifelong member of Metro Nashville Education Association, it is my pleasure to honor Dr. Eric Huth tonight. Eric recently retired, and he has been a leader in Metro schools for decades. Eric has served in the following capacities: President and Vice President of MNEA, Trustee for the Insurance Trust, Sick Leave Bank, and Administrative Retirement. The Administrative Retirement Committee and the Tennessee Consolidated Retirement System. Eric has proven to be analytical and professional with his work in the district. When teachers have conflict or other difficulties at the building level, MNEA offers them a place to go to voice their complaints and seek solutions. Eric served as liaison between teachers and administrators. He's worked diligently as a mediator, an arbitrator, a negotiator between administration and teachers. His remarkable ability to keep all parties calm during negotiations and arbitrations have been his trademark. Eric set a record for the longest standing MNEA president to date. He served 10 years as president, and those years extended from 1997 to 2019. And among those years, he served as vice president from 2011 to 2015. Prior to becoming the president of MNEA in 1997, Eric served as chair of the MNEA Building Committee. He saw the project through from planning the funding to the completion of the construction of the current headquarters that we all know is at Fairgrounds Court. It was a long project, 15 to 20 years in completion. Eric served as on the insurance trust for 13 years. While he was chair of the trust, members pushed on-site health clinics. And now we have excellent health care clinics across the district for our employees and their families. I'm going to share 3 quotes with you from people you know. The first one is Amanda Kale, current president of MNEA, and she says, Dr. Eric Huth has served expertly for many years on the Insurance Trust, advocating on behalf of teachers. His many years of service make him an integral part of MNEA's institutional memory that will be difficult to replace. We are all grateful for Eric's tremendous, important legacy. David Hines, who's the Executive Director of Benefits, says, "It has been my privilege to work with Eric for 13 years on matters that improve teacher benefits and health. From evaluating vendors and benefits to educating and advocating for his members, Eric always judged fairly and worked diligently to enhance our programs. I sincerely appreciate the partnership we have had over the years." Chris Henson, Chief Operating Officer, says this about Eric. Eric and I have worked together for the past 18 years. In addition to his contributions to Metro schools via his position at MNEA and the Insurance Trust, Eric served as a trustee for the Sick Leave Bank and the Administrative Retirement Committee. In all his duties, Eric was always deliberate and thoughtful, striving to understand the complexity of the subject matter and balancing it with the human context. I'm grateful for his leadership over the many years. Eric Huth, you are loved and appreciated. This board is grateful to you for the many contributions that you have made to our students and teachers across Nashville. Now I'm going to turn it over to David Hines.
Eric, just on behalf of the trust, I just want to thank you very much. We do have, I bring it up into focus here, a plaque that once we're past virtual, we want to go ahead and share with you, just to express our gratitude for the work you've done. And you have done a great work for all of us. You've been a friend and as I mentioned, a partner. And I can't thank you enough for everything you've done, and you will be and already are very much missed. But thank you.
Thank you, David. Ms. Froeg, would it be okay if we allow any contributions or comments from the board members?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Or if Mr. Huth would like to make any remarks, we welcome those.
Can I make a comment real quick so Mr. Huth can have the last word? Again, this is Frida Player-Peters, and sorry, I missed the roll call. No, Dr. Huth, I got to know Dr. Huth back in 2011. I had to think about it, sorry. It's been a while. As my capacity as the political director of SEIU, and Dr. Huth was really instrumental of passing down some information historically just about MNEA, SEIU, our relationship as organizations, but also just as a person advocating for workers in education, particularly teachers, and I just really admire his leadership over the years, particularly through some tough times, particularly at the state level, with the attack on teachers that happened through the legislature. Dr. Huth had been a strong advocate for the teachers here in Davidson County. And being a president of an organization, it's not an easy job. And he did it with grace and with humor. And I had a pleasure of working side by side as an ally with him. And this is a well-deserved recognition for all of his hard work through good times and bad times in this environment, in this state, particularly against teachers and the plight and the journey of workers and teachers getting the respect and dignity they deserve, doing the very heroic job of educating our children year in and year out, and understanding the weight and the burden teachers have to deal with, trying to be everything to everyone with expectations of the public that they're expected to achieve above and beyond. And Dr. Huth was a great advocate for his fellow workers and his fellow teachers with that, and a great ally. And so I just want to thank him for all the work, and that he has a well-deserved retirement. And I know a lot of us are jealous of him, that he'll be able to enjoy his fruits of his labor and his time. And so I personally wish him the best, and just thank you for the work we did together on the other side of the board level, and the fights that we had together, and the victories we had and we celebrated, to make sure that workers are treated with dignity and respect, and it's an ongoing part, and he's an integral part of the worker movement in his time at NMEA. So congratulations, Dr. Huth, and I wish you the very best.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Player-Peters. Any other remarks, or Dr. Huth? I don't see you on here, but if you'd like to make any remarks.
This is Christian.
I just wanted to thank you, Dr. Huth. I met him in 2016, and we got to know each other very quickly. I just appreciate, all the things that have already been said about you. I appreciate that is the person you are, the strong advocate, the engager. I've appreciated working with you with some of the NOAA initiatives, and I mean, just being truly, grassroots and involved in at the community level in many different ways. Just thank you for being you.
Okay, if we don't have any other comments, thank you very much, Dr. Huth, for your service, and we wish you a happy retirement.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay. So we're going to turn now to the governance issues and our consent agenda. Does anyone have any items to pull off the consent before I entertain a motion?
This is Christian Bugs. I would like to pull the Belmont facility.
Okay.
For discussion.
All right, so we're going to pull consent agenda item 1C, and I'll entertain a motion on the remaining items.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the consent agenda as written with that exception.
This is Sharon, I second.
Okay. Dr. Severe, if you could take a roll call vote, please.
Dr. Gentry?
Aye.
Dr. Gentry votes aye. Ms. Elrod?
Aye.
Ms. Elrod votes aye. Ms. Spearing?
Aye.
Ms. Spearing votes aye. Dr. Ndaba-McKinney?
Aye.
Dr. Ndaba-McKinney votes aye. Ms. Bugs?
Aye.
Ms. Bugs votes aye. Ms. Bush?
Aye.
Ms. Bush votes aye. Ms. Player-Peters?
Aye.
Ms. Player-Peters votes aye. Ms. Poople-Walker?
Aye.
Ms. Poople-Walker votes aye. Ms. Froeg?
Aye.
Ms. Froeg votes aye. Madam Chair, you have 9 ayes.
Okay, thank you. Now we will turn to consent agenda item 1C, recommended revision to the previously approved memorandum of understanding between MNPS and Belmont University. Ms. Bugs.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So yes, I wanted to pull this again this week just because I think I know we still had questions at the last meeting 2 weeks ago, and many, if not all of those questions were answered, but we've of course still been getting an influx of calls, emails, texts from community members on both sides of the agreement, just asking for either language recommendations or considerations or just voicing their opinion around whether or not the batting facility should be built. And I just want to remind the community, if you haven't been engaged around this issue, Belmont is looking to build a multi-million-dollar batting facility on Rose Park property, which is MNPS property. And there have just been community members in the Edge Hill community that it would be in the center of that either oppose it or that either are strongly oppose it or really love the idea. And so I wanted to give my colleagues a chance to ask any other questions of central office and of Metro Legal if you have any. And then I think we will be ready for a vote tonight. Thank you.
Okay. So I guess we need to have a motion on the table, and
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Spearing.
Thank you. I move that we approve the memorandum of understanding between MNPS and the Belmont University.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, I'm not sure. I think that was Ms. Gentry that spoke first. So, okay, we have a motion and second and discussion.
Ms. Froeg, this is Jeannie.
Yes.
Would it be possible to have, I don't know if Ms. Roberge is here, or if we could just get some highlights to the modifications that were made since our last meeting, or updates or answers to questions?
Sure.
For the public.
Ms. Poople-Walker, I am here. Due to ongoing tech issues, I only get to appear telephonically, but I'm happy to run through some of the changes that have been made since the last board meeting.
Thank you.
The agreement has been updated to make it clear that Belmont cannot sublet the facilities. Additionally, scheduling was addressed. There was a concern at the last board meeting that MNPS was bound to a 6-month requirement for scheduling its use. While that is a preference that we advance schedule it, the lease agreement now makes clear that the parties can work together if they're inside that six-month window. Another concern that was raised was if Belmont could exclude people on the basis of religion. I don't believe, as previously written, the lease agreement would have allowed that, but now it explicitly states that it does not allow that. Another kind of talking point from last meeting was about the type of lease/grant agreement, and we have clarified this language, and I believe it was Dr. Gentry raised a concern about this type of agreement where the money just does not go into our general fund, and this agreement does mirror the agreement that the Metropolitan government made through its Parks Department with Belmont based on the substantial improvements that Belmont is doing to Rose Park. So this is an unusual type of lease agreement from that perspective. There was a question about if this constituted an impermissible entanglement with a religious organization based on the Sixth Circuit case, Smith v. Jefferson County Board of School Commissioners. I believe that a court would find that it is not an impermissive entanglement with religion. I think those were sort of the highlights of the issues that I wrote down from last board meeting, but I'm happy to answer any additional questions that you all may have.
Thank you for all that homework. I appreciate that.
Okay, do we have any other questions or comments before we take a vote?
I just have a comment, Ms. Frog.
Yes.
I thank Ms. Roberge for sending a detailed response to the questions that were posed at the last meeting. That was very helpful to be able to study that before we came to the board floor. And I think it's a good idea that, thank you, Ms. Pooper-Walker, for bringing that up so that the public could be made aware of all those provisions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Dr. Severe, I believe we are ready to take a question. Oh, okay, Ms. Elrod, is that?
Sorry. I don't think you saw my camera turn on. I'm sorry.
Okay.
My question is for Ms. Roberge as well. So a concern that we've had is that the agreement allows or potentially could allow discrimination against or doesn't, okay, hold on, let me make sure I have this correct. Does not explicitly include protections based on orientation and gender identities. I know in paragraph 5, it refers to sexual orientation, but I want to make sure that gender identity is included within those protections in paragraph 5.
It would be included. The Supreme Court recently interpreted the term sex discrimination to include gender identity, LGBTQ, and so it would be our position, and Belmont would agree with us, that we could not discriminate on that basis or any basis.
Thank you. That's my only question.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question real quick. Ms. Roberge, does that also include sexual orientation under the definition of sex?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, Dr. Severe, if you could take a roll call vote, please.
Dr. Gentry?
Aye.
Dr. Gentry votes aye. Ms. Elrod?
Aye.
Ms. Elrod votes aye. Ms. Spearing?
Aye.
Ms. Spearing votes aye. Dr. DeBon-McKinney?
Aye.
Dr. DeBon-McKinney votes aye. Ms. Buggs?
Aye.
Ms. Buggs votes aye. Ms. Bush?
Aye.
Ms. Bush votes aye. Ms. Plater-Peters?
Aye.
Ms. Plater-Peters votes aye. Ms. Pooper-Walker?
Aye.
Ms. Pooper-Walker votes aye. Ms. Frog?
Aye.
Ms. Frog votes aye. Madam Chair, 9 ayes.
All right, thank you, Dr. Spear. We
Chair.
next have, yes.
I'm sorry, this is Christian Bucks. Could I just clarify one thing about next steps for the community?
Yes.
So since we voted unanimously from at this meeting, it is my understanding that this now goes on to the city council where it has to have 3 readings. If community members would like to continue to voice their support or their opposition to to this partnership or to this building, please reach out to council members and know that they meet on Tuesday, the first and third Tuesdays of each month. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. We next have a resolution of the Board of Education for Metropolitan Nashville Public Schools in support of focusing on children's social and emotional learning and academics during the COVID-19 pandemic. And this is a resolution that I have brought. I considered reading the entire thing, which we don't typically do lately, simply because I think it's a very important resolution. But I will shorten the reading just to the final paragraph because I think it's important just to share some of the language in this resolution. Our final paragraph says that we unanimously resolve that the board supports and respectfully requests that for the 2020-2021 school year, that the moratorium on state standardized testing continues, that students, teachers, administrators, schools, and LEAs continue to be held harmless on student achievement, student performance, or student growth data generated from the Tennessee Comprehensive Assessment Program tests administered in the 2020-2021 school year. These measures are necessary to focus on recoupment of students' academic and social-emotional skills lost during the extended school closure and to allow teachers and administrators to focus on the students' needs during this unprecedented time. So I would like to make a motion that we approve the resolution as written.
Second.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Spearing. And I'm going to open up with discussion just by saying I think it is vitally important that this year, in particular, we do not engage in high stakes testing that will be used punitively against our students, teachers, and schools. Just as a parent myself, speaking from my personal experience, I know we're just having a lot of trouble getting on the internet, so I can't imagine us trying to take tests that would be reliable in my household. And then I know there are all sorts of other challenges and obstacles this year, and the testing would not be reliable. It would be superfluous, and I think it would take us away from our focus and mission this year, which should be ensuring that the students in our schools have their basic needs met, like meals and support, and that we are doing the best we can to focus on their needs where they are. A lot of children did lose some time over the summer and spring, and also that we're meeting their social emotional needs. And so I think it's really important that we raise our voices along with members of other school boards across the state, who are asking that we not have state standardized testing this year. So would anyone else like to make a comment before we vote?
I'd like to make a comment.
Yes.
So are you calling for no assessments or just no accountability?
We already have the MAP testing in place, and so that's how we're measuring the growth in the district, and where children stand. I do think it's important that we have some measure that helps teachers, that helps drive instruction for teachers and helps teachers understand where the students are. And we have that, but we're not using that as high stakes testing to rate school systems or to evaluate teachers or anything like that. I think any sort of state testing on top of the MAP testing is not useful this year. So that's what I'm calling for.
So I'd like to speak on that then.
Okay.
So I want to start by recognizing that I know teachers and staff and principals are working double time. This is not, what I'm going to say is not in support of them, but I do want to speak to my thoughts on this resolution. I do think that assessments play an important role, including the MAP test. We've received so many emails, I'll speak for myself, a lot of emails from parents about returning to school in person. The vast majority of these have been framed from a perspective of a loss of instructional time and a serious concern about equity and about students losing instructional time. And so I agree that we have to acknowledge that students have faced a difficult time being out of school, but I also think the most important work our district does is not feeding students and not comforting students. It is teaching students. And if we are not going to talk about and assess and look at the loss of instructional time, I think it's bad practice. I think it's malpractice, actually. I think we can concentrate on SEL, and we can also teach and measure student progress. We can walk and chew gum at the same time. I also think that we have a responsibility as a board to use evidence, including state assessments, to make decisions about Dr. Battle's evaluation, about resource alignment, about a whole range of things from Title I, Title II allocations and so forth going into the next year. But I also want to say that I don't think they should be tied to accountability. They shouldn't be tied to teacher evaluations this year. They shouldn't be tied to students' grades. I actually think we could push them till the very end of the school year, merely because I think this information will not inform the work and will distract from that last month of school. But I want to reiterate that to continue to sort of have language that is continuing to sow doubt in state assessments, I think is not good. I think many, many parents rely on that information to make a whole range of decisions. We know they expose gaps publicly in a way that was not done before we had state assessments, and we have so many students that we're worried about. I think this is a time to use that information to make decisions for the 2021-22 school year. And so for that reason, I won't be able to support the resolution.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Fupa-Walker. Would anyone else like to make any comments?
This is Christian Bugs. I would.
Yes.
As a middle school math teacher and as a young parent or a parent of a young child who will be entering school soon, I completely understand all sides of the conversation. I think what I would encourage the community the language I would encourage us to use is that we stop weaponizing assessments. Assessments are supposed to be used to really guide instruction. Any teacher will tell you it's great for them to do pre-assessments and post-assessments to understand, if standards have been learned, if proficiency has been gained, or mastery has been gained, if proficiency has been met, and just what other supports we can offer to students. I mean, when I think about just little things that I do with my son to assess how well he's potty trained, or to understand, if he's learned the color blue or the letter A, these are all assessments. But in this country, unfortunately, we've weaponized them. And for sure in Tennessee, we use those assessments to hold teachers accountable for things that are often out of their control and to make students feel bad. And so I understand the need to assess students and to use that to really drive instruction. And I would just beg our federal leaders and our state leaders to understand that we've got to stop weaponizing them. I mean, I'm fine to support the resolution. I do think that we just need to engage in more specific conversations around what we mean by high stakes testing, and just making sure that the community really understands that we want to let you know where your child is in his or her professional journey. But sometimes the assessments have been used in a way that's really consequential. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments?
Madam Chair, this is Rachel Ann Elrod. May I speak?
Yes.
Thank you. I guess I'm piggybacking somewhat on what Ms. Buggs just said. Pre and post assessments are, I would say, not the argument or not the fight there, as most of our educators do pre and post assessments of all kinds, whether documented or just based upon their own professional abilities and best practices that they know through their continued training that they go through. That is the accountability that we should be standing by, is that the grades that our students earn in partnership with the educators that help them through their learning, that is maybe the best assessment sometimes of what a student really knows, as that teacher has gone through the process with our students. And so I am absolutely against us doing any type of assessments at the end of the school year particularly, that are supposed to reflect what a student has been able to do through this school year particularly. That's not fair to our teachers, it's not fair to our staff, and it's not fair to our parents or our children. I think I'm the only school board member that's probably gone through the MAP process this week, as I have 2 first graders. And though the MAP is not a high stakes test, and it is a pre-post assessment, and it's a great way for us to kind of dot what that process is, particularly since our students haven't been inside of our classroom since March, it is still difficult to give in this virtual setting. And it is still not a great example of what it would be inside the classroom. So holding students or teachers or us as a school system accountable in such a high stakes way would be potentially damaging and overly stressful for all of our communities. So I am in favor of it.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Allwright. Anyone else?
Ms. Frogue, may I make a comment? Yes, I support the resolution, and I don't see that we are weaponizing assessments. The achievement test is directly correlated with socioeconomics, and that has been proven over and over again. It does not drive instruction. It's a few days in the year, whereas as Rachel Ann was saying, what teachers are doing with a pre-test and a post-test, that measures growth. Trusting our teachers is something we have not been doing in the past as much as I believe we will do with Dr. Battle and are doing with Dr. Battle. So I just wanted to share that I am in full support of your resolution, Ms. Frogue. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I did have a response, and if anyone else wants to say anything else, I will open the floor again. I wrote something about standardized testing in general back in 2016, and to my knowledge, all of this information is still true in Tennessee, and I think it shows the absurdity of the standardized testing that we are doing. So let me just kind of go through a few points, and I'm going to give you the brief version. First of all, the average school in Nashville loses 6 to 8 weeks of valuable instructional time to standardized testing per year. My 9-year-old third grader back in 2016 spent more time taking standardized tests than I spent taking the LSAT to get into law school. Children in grades 3 through 5 are expected to sit still for 2.5 hours on one day alone to fill in bubble tests. Third graders are expected to type multi-paragraph responses to essay questions and perform sophisticated manipulations on the computer screen in order to even complete the tests. The results of the standardized tests are not available usually until the next school year, when the students who took the test have moved along to the next teacher, the next grade level, and sometimes the next school. And so it's not really, the testing is not driving instruction or helping the students, which is really the point, I think, of this standardized testing, or should be. Test questions and responses are not available for review by teachers, parents, or students. In other words, the standardized test upon which we base everything, our teacher evaluations, rating our school districts, rating our schools, they are like a black box. We don't know if the tests are even correct or appropriate when only the testing company has access to the information contained in them. And so I have questions about the reliability of these state standardized tests when profit is driving a lot of the movement toward more testing. Next, about 70% of our Tennessee teachers are evaluated using test scores of children they have never taught. This is on a regular school year. We are evaluating teachers on classes they've never taught. And then finally, there is a lot of research questioning the validity of using standardized test scores to evaluate teachers. Research demonstrates that test scores are primarily influenced by out-of-school factors, and only 7 to 13% of variance in test scores is due to teachers. I have major concerns about our standardized testing in general. I mean, I saw a post yesterday, which was an x-ray of a child's hand showing the growth in the child's hand between kindergarten and second grade. And the point that was made in the post is that children's hands are not developed enough to manipulate writing, pencils, or to fill in bubbles on these standardized tests, and certainly not to type information on computers. And so I just feel the testing has gotten completely out of control in general. And in this year, we have another layer of challenge because we have so many of the children, we are struggling with internet connectivity. On a good year, we've had the testing platform completely fail for the entire state. They've had problems getting the scoring done in time. I mean, it's just been, our state testing has been a repeated disaster year after year, and I can't imagine that it will get any better this year with all of the challenges that we have. And so that's why I brought this resolution. I feel very strongly that on this particular school year, we really shouldn't be doing any more standardized testing than we already are. And certainly would support accountability measures, but I think that's a larger debate to be had. I think we do need to have some measure, but the way we're doing it right now is really not effective. So that's all I have to say. I don't know if anyone else wants to make any comments.
Amy, I do. Fran.
Thank you. Hi.
Amy, can you hear me?
Yes. Sorry, Ms. Bush. Yes. Go ahead.
Thank you for your comments. I will tell you, and I think I've definitely made it very, clear that I am in the trenches of virtual learning right now because I do have a classroom that is set aside for kids that are in K through 3 right now. And I have dedicated one teacher to work with these students. One thing I would tell you, I definitely agree. We do need some testing to be able to measure growth. But I will tell you, the MAP test is a disaster. It is to see the type of ask of these questions to a second grader. And today I got a chance to see kindergartners test on their math. And these kids didn't know nothing. I mean, literally, it was just the hardest problems. They could not, they couldn't read. They could not read a graph. I mean, it was a train wreck. And so that, parents are saying, I'm not taking this test. These kids can't do it. They want them to do it. And that it is impossible for these students to be able to participate in this pretest. So I just want to make a comment about the MAP test, and I'm not sure why it's not on grade level. It is absolutely extremely rigor to a point that the teacher had sat down and, even questioned some of the answers because she was like, I haven't done this in a while, but I mean, I need to get out pencil and paper. And this was crazy. This was like second graders. This is a second grade MAP test. And then today was the kindergarten MAP test. And it was just, parents are saying they're not doing it. So we're not going to have a lot of measures with this MAP test because it's supposed to be designed where they can at least read it or be able to understand the language. And again, they've never seen this before. They have never been taught this before. So they are definitely not engaged with this test because they have not been given this instructional time. So I just want to kind of make that point about the MAP testing because it's probably going to be a very, very low scoring test. And it kind of sets us up to look like our kids really don't know anything. So just want to make that comment about the MAP testing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else like to make a comment?
I would. Yeah. So initially, I initially thought this was through the testing, but not ask for it to be counted against our teachers for the students for their progress going into the grade. I am probably going to be supporting this just because of the uncertainty of COVID. We do not know what the winter is going to look like. We'll hear, I guess, the update in a few minutes from a director of schools about the status and where we're going from here. I would encourage our director of schools to continue with doing some type of assessment with MAP and other methods, and continue to communicate that to the parents and children. I think it's important that, especially through this unique time that we're in, given the COVID pandemic, that we are assessing and testing our children to make sure we are tracking what they're doing with MAP, and then if any of the other tools and assessment. And this is where I am not a formally trained academician to really kind of to speak as expert on this, but I think it's important just because as we go through life as adults, you're assessed in some shape, form, or fashion. We just did an assessment on our director of schools in the previous committee meeting. And so assessment is important, and knowing that our children have to be compared to other children across the statewide, that we continue to do assessments to continue to track given this unprecedented time. But given that it's also unprecedented time and that transitions are going to be happening throughout the entire school year, we do not know how that transition is going to look like. We, seeing how parents may shift from in-person to virtual, virtual to in-person, and vice versa. And as we go through that, it makes it much difficult to assess it on a standardized level just because of health conditions of families, of students, of parents, of grandparents that are caretaking. But I think this is such an unprecedented time, and things are going to be shifting and changing, and we do not know what the future holds. I wish we did. And I think that's a separate conversation than testing as a whole. And that testing, as we do as academics, is a whole different conversation. But given this particular moment in time, given the fact that we're in a pandemic, given that we don't know how it shifts, God forbid there's another outbreak coming this fall with the flu coming on, I just think with the unpredictability, it would be unfair right now to put that on our children and our employees to have their progress be so heavily entangled with this, with an assessment, given just the changes that's going on with it. But I think there's a bigger conversation that we can have in the future about assessment testing, where they should be, and or the role in education. I think Ms. Walker made some good points, and Ms. Buggs made some great points that goes to a larger conversation. But I just want to keep this kind of conversation focused on the pandemic itself, because I think this is a unique moment in time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Player-Peters. If there are no other comments, Dr. Severe.
I do.
Okay. I'm sorry. Who is that?
Berthina Nabama-McKinney.
Hi.
Hey.
Dr. Nabama-McKinney.
Hi. So I agree with Ms. Player-Peters regarding where we are in the pandemic related to testing. I do think it's critically important that we have some type of assessments for students to identify where they are, so that we begin to create learning plans to be able to support students along this journey. And so the larger conversation around high stakes testing, I think deserves a later platform to be able to have that discussion. But I do want to say that it is critically important that we identify where students are so that we can support learning throughout this learning environment right now, especially during the pandemic, and as we really look at in an equitable way on how we're meeting students' needs across this district. I think it's important for our teachers and our administrators, as well as the district, to know where students are so that we can begin to create that learning environment and create a plan to support all learners in our district. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Nabama-McKinney.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm trying to jump in.
That's Dr. Gentry.
Yes. Okay. So, yeah, so all of that, plus, I just think we just need to, and I remind us that these, any assessment that we give has already been proven, whether it's the MAP, whether it's the state assessment, whether it's the ACT, whether it's the AP exams. These standardized tests have always proven that there's some, what has resulted in highlighting the inequities among students of color, and students who are living in low socioeconomic situations. And so that's it's not a moot argument, but it's part of the DNA and the makeup of what we're dealing with. And so sometimes I worry that if we don't give our students the assessments, they don't even get the practice, right? So there is the part about, I get this point in time and I understand the ground I'm going to have to make up. And we've always known after the tornado and we stopped classroom instruction, we've always known that there's going to be this widening of inequities. There's going to be a widening of learning and this increased amount of loss. And so that's, again, also a given. But when things get back to normal, we want to know. We want to know where we need to start with our students. And what I will always be in agreement with is that when we use these assessments, and not always because the state assessment system just doesn't work, it's not helpful. It's not helpful to a teacher to believe that his or her job is on the line because of a student's performance on a standardized test. It leads to a lot of the behaviors that we've seen where teachers are now focused on teaching to the test versus preparing that student to be the lifelong learners that we say we want to produce out of our district. So I'm halfway in favor of the resolution, that it should not be used, again, for teacher evaluations and things of that nature, but we need this baseline. And our students particularly need the experience, because the standardized test is not going to go away anytime soon in their academic career. So whether that's as an elementary school student, middle school, high school, to get into college, to get into law school, to get into med school, we need to give our students this exposure to the process and to that kind of an environment. So I would just say, again, finally, what everyone else has said, this is a bigger conversation. So these test scores, again, these are just symptoms of bigger problems that we need to, hopefully in this coming year, we can rally around as a board to get focused on what we need to be focused on to move the needle for our students.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Gentry. I'll just say, I do want to reiterate that this resolution is not to cut out all testing this year. It would just be to stop the state testing, and we do have MAP assessments ongoing right now. So we are going to have a measure. And I guess I disagree with some of the comments made, only because I do not trust the validity of the state testing. There have been just too many problems year after year. But you all, this is my last meeting tonight. You all can take up that discussion at a later time about the role of assessments. I think we have too many. I think they're not reliable. I think we're wasting a lot of instructional time on tests that aren't used and aren't good measures of students' growth or achievement. But tonight, this resolution is just about cutting out state testing so that we can focus on the needs of students and still have assessments locally that we can use, not for high stakes purposes, but just to ensure that we're measuring where children are, and hopefully that will help the teachers. So any other comments? If not, I will call for a vote. Okay, Dr. Severe, could you take a roll call vote, please?
Dr. Gentry?
No.
Dr. Gentry votes no. Ms. Selrod?
Aye.
Sarah votes aye. Ms. Spearing?
Aye.
Spearing votes aye. Dr. Nabama-Kinney? Dr. Nabama-Kinney? We'll loop back to her. Ms. Buggs?
Aye.
Ms. Buggs votes aye. Ms. Bush?
Aye.
Ms. Bush votes aye. Ms. Player-Peters?
Aye.
Ms. Player-Peters votes aye. Ms. Pooper-Walker?
No.
Ms. Pooper-Walker votes aye. Dr. Nabama-Kinney?
I didn't vote aye. I voted no.
I apologize. I recorded you as a no. Dr. Nabama-Kinney?
Aye.
Dr. Nabama-Kinney votes aye. Ms. Frog?
Aye.
Ms. Frog votes aye. Madam Chair, it's 7 ayes, 2 noes.
Okay, thank you. The resolution has passed. All right, now we're going to turn to the director's report with the COVID-19 status update, which is the hot topic of the week. And so I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Battle to give us a report on the update and reopening of schools.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, board members, and thank you for this opportunity to talk about recommendations for our next steps as a district as we approach Labor Day in a world that continues to be defined by COVID-19. As a reminder, the last time we had in-person instruction in the district was on March 11th before closing for the end of the school year and starting virtually on August 4th. And as you'll remember, the board approved the Nashville Plan Framework as a guiding policy document for MNPS during the duration of the COVID-19 pandemic, which charged me with also planning for a safe, efficient, and equitable plan based on available health data. Our COVID-19 context in Nashville shows movement in the right direction, but we're still not nearly where we should be as a city. Our transmission rates are lower than they were when we first made the announcement to go virtual, and the spike of new cases has leveled off. However, our positive test rates and new cases per 100,000 residents are higher than we want to see, and they indicate continued community spread. Guidance and information from the public health officials have been evolving as we've learned more about this virus. We heard from Dr. Hildreth the other week that it appears the virus might be airborne. Since our last announcement, the new metric of cases per 100,000 residents has been created to more accurately assess community spread. And we're seeing guidance updated and changed from the state level to the school district level as more schools operate in the in-person environment and see cases that are causing them to close or quarantine large numbers of staff and students. Even with schools not being in session, we've tracked several cases throughout our district that have caused staff members to be quarantined. Now, we haven't seen any serious cases resulting from this as of yet, but anytime multiple people are interacting in an environment, there is potential for anyone to be a close contact. Remember, a close contact is someone who is within 6 feet of another person for 10 minutes or longer, whether you have on a mask or not. We can social distance to a large extent while students aren't in the building, but it isn't feasible once we return to classes. Currently, Davidson County has the most reported cases of children infected in the state over the last few weeks, even though MNPS is all virtual currently. You can see here the number of staff and students that have been reported to the district. Many of those student cases involve student athletes who reported positive cases or were quarantined. Those cases listed here are where the employees created an exposure event at one of our schools and required quarantine procedures to go into effect. You can see here some of the groups we have engaged throughout the process and will continue to engage going forward. It matters that we hear from them, and they truly help to shape the outcome of the plan. At the top of every list, and this very list, is you as the Board of Education. Please know that I'm very thankful for your ongoing leadership to help navigate through these unique circumstances. Given the continued high rate of spread, I think it is prudent for us to take a measured, phased-in approach to returning to schools and remain in the virtual setting through at least the end of the first quarter on October 1st, just before fall break. This is the safest course and will allow us to track the spread and hopefully see greater declines in the rate per 100,000 residents and the positivity rate. We know that with this many people in Nashville still contracting COVID, it is just a short matter of time before we have students or staff coming back with a positive case, exposing others to the virus and causing a disruption that results in closing classrooms, entire schools, or possibly the whole district if it gets bad enough. Having said that, we still need to be making progress through an equity-centered approach for special populations of students and in supporting our families who rely on schools to care for their children while at work. Students with exceptional needs can be the most challenging to serve in the virtual environment. We have produced clips for most students and are offering virtual therapy services. However, we know that for many students, that hands-on experience, hand over hand even, is critical to being able to learn and grow. So as we're considering expanding our in-person services, we should focus first on those students with exceptional needs. And I'm recommending that we do this in phases, starting with those students in the most restrictive environment and expanding it out to our traditional schools. So what you have here is a recommendation that over a few weeks that we begin to offer an in-person learning option to a small population of our most vulnerable students in K-12 across the various types of schools. Again, just being very equity centered and making sure we're being responsive to all the needs of our students to ensure that they all can continue to grow and learn. We also know that some parents, especially those in pre-K and elementary, are struggling to balance their work life and supporting their students' education. So in order to support those families, I am proposing to partner with the YMCA to provide daycare programs with small groups of children being supervised and given support for virtual learning at 7 schools and Camp Widgewagen. These programs will be offered at no cost to families through the YMCA and service students in grades K through 5 or ages 5 through 12 respectively. Again, this is a partnership that will be expanded upon. I'm very thankful for this opportunity with the YMCA to expand this option to our MNPS families. Once we can offer in-person learning to students at our schools, we should prioritize in order of the youngest students first. This might mean pre-K to K2 or all elementary to start, followed by middle schools and then high schools last, as those students are most likely to transmit COVID-19 to others. This phased-in approach could last through the beginning of the second semester based on the continued level of spread in our community and in the best interest of our high school students who will spend most of December preparing for and taking exams. We don't want to disrupt their learning by having them transition during that time. High school students also tend to be the most comfortable with virtual learning. Finally, I believe we should keep the option of virtual learning open for all families throughout the school year, because it is unlikely that COVID-19 will go away by the start of the second semester. And we want to give students who are working well in this environment the ability to continue. In developing our plans, we reviewed them with Dr. Alex Jahunger, chairman of the Metro Coronavirus Task Force. Nobody knows the city's context better than he does, and he agrees that a measured and cautious approach is the best one. And as you may recall, at a recent press briefing, Dr. James Hildreth of Meharry Medical College said that it is now beyond dispute that children can be infected and will be infected from this virus, and that we should take this into consideration and be very cautious when discussing plans for going back to brick and mortar school buildings. Now, for the moment, we are postponing all competitions and performances until further notice. But I'll be meeting with leaders, my team will be meeting with leaders at both the district and school levels to see what we can still do, because we know how important athletics and the arts are for so many of our students. I take all this in consideration as a previous MNPS multiple sports student athlete, performer, and Division I athlete. Today, the Metro Health Department issued guidance to schools calling for a suspension of athletic events for schools that are going to remain all virtual. We have also been working to secure Pixie-like recording and streaming devices for all of our high school football fields and gymnasiums to be able to allow families and friends to watch games if fans are not permitted once we're able to resume. The agreement with NFHS Network at a cost of $15,000 will be funded out of money that would have otherwise gone towards security for games and works out about $500 per camera, a minimal cost compared to the price of the equipment, and allows schools to keep a portion of revenue from advertising and subscription sales. Not only would this allow for significant social distancing during COVID-19, but would also boost family and fan attendance at games in the future for those who can't make it in person. We definitely could not manage any of this alone. We are so fortunate to have great community partners working with us to meet the needs of our students, families, and staff. So I'm happy to give a shout out to each of the partners you see on the screen here, which represents some, not all, of the many contributors to our success as a district. Now, on another path here, it has been a goal of our district to have one nurse per school, but a lack of funding has prevented that from happening in the past. Currently, our contract with Metro Health provides for about 77 nurses, with a number of them earmarked for our highest need schools, such as Harris Hillman, Cornell, Merle, and the rest spread out covering multiple schools each. Those nurses provide care in a procedure-driven format. That means that they go to schools with students whose doctors have prescribed individualized care. As we start to consider opening schools for students, we need this healthcare expertise in all of our schools, without requiring them to shuffle from one place to the next. The mayor's office has expressed interest in using Metro portion of the CARES Act funding to pay for additional nurses through the end of the year, subject to Metro Council approval. Additional funding to continue this program could come from our portion of CARES Act funds or through the use of our fund balance or other general fund appropriations. If we wanted to make this a recurring program, we would need Metro to allocate funds sufficient to cover the cost going forward, which is approximately $5 million. Teaching and learning in the virtual environment doesn't happen, I think we can all agree, unless our students have access to technology and the internet. All students who have requested a device through their schools have received a computer, with more being deployed at our EL centers for students and families with language barriers who need further assistance. So to date, we have deployed 44,800 devices, which equates to 65% of our students who have requested and received a device. That is 13,000 more devices than the initial needs that were identified. We have an additional set of devices that are imaged and ready to go as needs are identified. We've also deployed more than 12,700 T-Mobile hotspots to families and students, which offer unlimited high-speed Wi-Fi access for our students. And in another update, we're fortunate now to be in a place where we provided to schools all of the laptops they've requested. Again, with more in stock to meet new needs as they arrive from new enrollments or from students who may need them going forward. However, I've heard from a lot of our teachers who are struggling to use their district provided laptops, you have as well, in this enhanced virtual environment with so many teleconferencing calls and other tasks, although this was tested back in the spring during remote learning. We're just quite frankly working in a more robust, with a more robust plan that requires and demands more of our teachers to make sure our students have access to those quality experiences every day. We were already planning on a third replacement of laptops with new devices for a third of our teachers every year, but it has become clear we need to accelerate that to meet the needs of all teachers to provide an uninterrupted education for their students. So by using existing contracts, capital funding already approved for technology by Metro, and potentially funding from leftover Mayor's CARES Act money, we will be able to provide for a new device for every teacher by the end of next month that will meet their needs. We will then assess and redeploy the best teacher devices to our instructional support employees who need them. And we've heard that ask as well. And so that is very exciting news that we'll be able to accelerate that timeline to make sure our teachers have the devices and tools that they need to be successful in this current virtual environment. So those are the recommendations for our next steps as a district. But before I close this director's report, I want to take a moment to thank our chair, Amy Frog, and Jill Spearing for 8 wonderful years of service to Metro Nashville Public Schools. You have been strong advocates for public schools, for our teachers, and for our students. And as a new director, I have greatly appreciated the experience and wisdom and passion you've brought to the boardroom. Whether in person or now virtual, every other Tuesday, your presence will be greatly missed. If we were meeting tonight in person, we'd be handing these awards to you right now. But in lieu of that, please accept this virtual presentation, and we'll be sure you have these soon as a small token of our appreciation for your service to Team MNPS. Thank you for everything you've done for this school district. Thank you, thank you. And sorry, Amy and Jill, for getting that in at the end of my presentation. I wanted to make sure I had an opportunity to recognize you and to thank you for your many, many years of service. So with that, Chair Frog, I will turn it back over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Battle. I really appreciate it. We'll be, I think we'll be collecting these probably on Thursday when we swear in our replacements on the board. But I think also am speaking for pretty much the entire district to say thank you for your leadership. We are really grateful that you're at the helm during this difficult time, and we really appreciate your leadership and service as well. So I know we're going to have a lot of questions about Dr. Battle's presentation, and so I will open up the floor for questions or comments.
This is Christian Buggs. I have a few questions and comments.
Buggs.
So, Dr. Battle, I told you in our one-on-one last week that I loved this plan. I love that you listened to our parents and our community. Resoundingly, I think we've heard the most from families that have a student with any kind of exceptional need and those who are supporting elementary students. Like I said, I always say I have a toddler, so I tip my hat off to those, parents of kindergarten, first, second, third, fourth grade students who are, just learning. They're learning the digital age. And so this is so inclusive, and the idea that when we're allowed to, or when we're able to open up to start phasing in elementary students, that, this partnership with the Y really supports essential workers, and that you've thought through having staff trained so that they understand how to work with students on the different platforms, with Clever, with Schoology, with Teams. There doesn't seem to be a hole at all. All I would ask is, when you talk about being able to phase in those elementary school students, when would that begin, or what do conditions around the city need to be to start that phase in?
Yes, so the data and metrics, the science will be following, along with the guidance from our health officials and our local context. I mean, really paying attention to what's happening before us. We'll use all those measures. So we're continuing to follow all the metrics, all the science behind helping us navigate this very difficult and challenging situation. Our goal is that, in our announcement prior to fall break, we will be able to update everyone with the hopes of starting to phase our earliest learners back in after the first quarter. So that will be our goal if conditions allow for us to do that. And I'll take this opportunity to say it again. We're prepared and ready. Our staff is eager to welcome our students back as long as conditions allow. So we'll be ready. We'll be prepared to do that if conditions allow us to welcome those students back at the beginning of the second quarter, which they will get that update before the end of first quarter, prior to fall break.
And I'm sorry, I want to make sure that I clarified. I don't think I was clear with my question. I'm talking about with the partnership with the YMCA. When would that begin? That
will begin right after Labor Day.
Okay. So no matter what, we feel comfortable with Labor Day being
absolutely.
I love it. The other thing. I know this is free of charge for families, and I'm assuming that, of course, children will be fed. Will buses continue to run with the same amount of food? How do we account for food distribution?
So currently, we continue to operate all of our school site cafeterias, and we're running nearly all of our bus routes to make sure we're meeting the needs of our families with meals. So if a family is choosing the YMCA partnership, their meals will be deployed through the YMCA, and they are in early conversations, they're looking to partner with us to provide those meals to all of the students who will be attending. So we will continue with our school sites. We will continue with our bus routes. We'll continue to monitor numbers. But just as of yesterday, I got a couple communications from parents just wanted even more information. They want access, and so they were asking for clarification about how they can pick up meals, both breakfast and lunch.
Perfect. And then I hope I'm not jumping the gun, but we had, of course, unfortunately, a few families reach out that are experiencing homelessness, that may be living in different parts of the city, and they've either not been able to log on at all or haven't been able to log on consistently. And I know I couldn't remember the young woman you said is over is connecting students to the heat map and to the resources. What would you suggest for families if they need to be contacted? Or if, until when would you be able to announce what the heat map looks like and what areas of the city have been hit hardest with disconnectivity issues?
Yes, so that contact is Catherine Knowles, and she leads our HERO program. So Catherine can be reached directly, or always, if you're in doubt, reach out to our Family Information Center, 615-259-4636. We are in the early phases of getting all of our enrollment settled, and it's a process we go through every year with our no-show students and making sure everyone is settled in. So as soon as we do that, we'll be able to provide updated information. But we're also not waiting for that. Under the leadership of Dr. Michelle Springer and her team, they continue daily efforts to make sure that our students in need have the supports that we have available and that we can get to them. And so between Catherine Knowles and our HERO program and our Student Services Department, they're linking arms and making sure that we're being responsive to our homeless students, those in need, or if there's just another need that has come up since we've been in this pandemic.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Madam Chair.
Dr. Gentry, yes, go ahead.
Thank you for the update, Dr. Battle. And I'm going to ask you to repeat something, a portion of your report intentionally. Gotten some questions from in the athletic space. Coaches are concerned about, I guess, the way they're currently practicing. Like if for football, there's the no contact, but they're still going out there. One of the questions asked are we actually having a season? Are we just going to call the season? And then, just concerns about no after quote unquote after school activities and involvement. So if you can just kind of just recap again the plan for athletics, and is there some thinking around whether a go no go decision needs to be made about sports in general, or is going to be made?
Yes, thank you for that question. So the practice that we've been utilizing for updates with regards to athletics, our coaches and principals, athletic directors have been receiving weekly updates with our status and what their next week's conditioning or practice activities can look like. And just to be clear, up until to date, we have not authorized any contact for students. So they've been able to practice, rehearse, do drills, all non-contact activities outside, not inside the building, to continue to condition and prepare for their upcoming seasons. Over the next days and weeks, we will continue that dialogue, given our current COVID-19 context, to put several strategies, options in front of our principals. They're going to be discussing if, based upon the timing, if conditions allow, our options to completing seasons, or if the final decision will be any level of cancellation. But we've got to be very mindful and strategic in that space, because we often, when we're thinking of athletics during this time of year, we often focus on football, but there's volleyball, there's soccer, there's so many other sports that are happening, as well as other performances. There's band, there's the arts that's also happening. And so those are the conversations that will be happening over the next days and weeks for us to make an informed decision to give our students the best possible scenario as we move forward. But as a reminder, we faced something very similar back in the spring when all spring sports were also canceled. So we'll continue those conversations and have some updates in the next few days. But as of now, they're postponed until further notice, keeping everyone in the current status that they're in so they can continue to practice and condition, no contact, and no competitions at this time. Hope that answered your question, Dr. Gentry.
Thank you.
Ms. Bush.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Dr. Battle, I'm going to kind of have two sections to my questions for you. And again, I always come and I always wear my hats as a parent, and also bringing concerns from other parents in the district on, this announcement. So I want to just kind of focus on the early learners. I did see in your presentation about, of course, the YMCA. So let's talk about that really quick. The YMCA, I know we had a discussion at length about, the number of of students that we're gonna house right now for the child care and the virtual learning. So of course we have over 80,000 kids. And of course, when we roll this out, of course, in the beginning, it was, we didn't really have a lot of supports in place for our families. So I just want you to kind of talk a little bit about, we had talked about maybe open up more, because this is going to kind of close in real quickly as far as, I guess, the application process. So how does that look as far as how these parents apply or, consider what the YMCA as a support for them?
Yes, so this option will be immediately available for families to start identifying their desire to participate in the YMCA partnership. We are currently set to expand into 7 of our school facilities after Labor Day. And so we'll start initially with 7 different options across the district, all elementary schools, to support and serve our students. In those 7 facilities, we have the capacity. We want to keep the group small, and so the capacity is 60 on each of those sites. But we've also already identified kind of phase 2 schools if the demand is there. And I want to just kind of keep in mind that prior to this expansion, the YMCA has previously, for months now, been offering their own supervised daycare options. So they have other sites that are also still available that, if they're convenient for families, they can also choose. We wanted to partner with them to do something specific in metro schools to continue to serve our students and families. And so they have the capacity to continue to add spaces as needed. And we'll also be using our extended learning day program to support them in training in the virtual learning platform and to ensure success of our students who will be supervised under their care.
And in the virtual space, I'm assuming, I think you had cleared that up when I asked the question, were they going to be using our classrooms just so they can have the social distancing and also, have that space for virtual learning?
Yeah, great question. So the schools that have been selected and those that are kind of the next phase, if the demand is there for us to expand upon, already have partnerships with the YMCA. So that was a very strategic decision, which means they already have designated spaces in our school facilities in order for them to utilize. So we're not necessarily having to identify new space. They might spread out a bit, but they have very strict safety requirements and guards around how far apart the students will be, and keeping the students grouped together based upon their age and grade level while they're on site.
So let me ask you, just of course, this is just $1 million question, and this is just from parents who's listening to this tonight. What would you say to the parents that says, okay, so we're going to do this, just, provide space and place for the YMCA to be in one of our buildings or 7 of our buildings. And as you already stated that, our younger learners will hopefully transition back in after Labor Day, right? Was it Labor Day?
After fall break.
Okay, after fall break. And so, of course, if that doesn't happen, which of course, numbers kind of, because of course, you heard about the twin with COVID, which is the flu. So we know that there's, things start to spike at that time. But what would you say to those families that say, well, if we can do it now for the why can't we do this now for the early learners that really, really need that support? And those parents who are really, they're really upset right now because, of course, they're trying to work, they're trying to pay for tutors, they have their parents, they have grandparents that are trying to help support them through this virtual learning. Of course, we've had a lot of little hiccups with it, of course, with the Wi-Fi, all these other different things that we've been trying to work through. And so I just want to, what would you say to those families? Because that's what's going to happen next after this conversation, is that why is it that it's best for this scenario, but it's not best for the scenario right before fall break?
Yes, so as I mentioned early on, as we've been following the data and the metrics, as we've been looking at our own internal data as well, what you will see is, of course, we have a number of cases and we're still in virtual right now. What's not feasible is to bring and convene large groups of students and staff in the same building. And so when we're talking about a phased-in approach, we're focused on safety, but we're also focused on efficiency. We want to make sure that as we begin to phase in, that we can have provide the continuity of learning for everyone. So for instance, in the YMCA partnership, we're talking about having a 1:10, 1:12 ratio of student to teacher. And that's very low compared to what we're able to offer in the face-to-face traditional environment. And so we're talking about, again, being responsive to the feedback that we've received from parents and providing some options, but able to do so in a very manageable way to help continue to mitigate the spread of the virus. And so it's all about scale, phasing in and implementation to make sure that we can keep everyone safe as we do our part as a school district to make sure our city's numbers remain on the decrease and remain improving so that we can phase everyone back in eventually.
Okay. So, and I'm sure you heard me, of course, tell you about the cares and the frustration of parents with early learners. And, of course, I have been a part of that equation now with the virtual learnings in my own center. And I tell you from experience, it is extremely hard for the kids to learn. And parents, and also I can say now, I do worry about the learning and the academics loss for these students. And I know the teachers are doing everything they possibly can to teach through the computer, but it's extremely hard for these students to stay focused. I got a chance to we always get a chance to kind of walk around and we see what it looks like on a daily basis, right? So we notice that, it is hard to keep kids focused and it's hard to keep them engaged when, you have so many little people that are on the computer and teachers are trying their best to, engage with each student. But it's such a lack of support that they really want to do more. They really want to do more, of course. So I am a little worried about the lack of loss of academics for the younger students. They are getting some academics, but it's definitely not enough. It's definitely not enough. So I'm really worried about that for our students. And, I'm just trying to make sure that I do my part and make sure that I am very transparent about what I'm seeing and what my teachers are seeing about virtual learning for our students, especially our early learners. And just to let you know, they're tired. Their eyes are hurting. They're tired. They talk about how their eyes are burning. They're on the system, and most of our early learners are not done until about 2:30. Each day. They do take breaks in between, and of course they take lunch, but it's really starting to get really hard on them. They talk about their backs hurting. They don't, how they're sitting and all that. And I know that maybe, they're young, but it is important that we pay attention to that. So I just think the more and more of this extended virtual learning that we have for our younger students, it's really going to be problematic as far as their academics support and success.
Yeah. Well, and thank you for the feedback, Ms. Bush. Greatly appreciate that. Last week, I had the pleasure of convening our Directors Teachers Cabinet, and we took some time to talk about, what the successes, what was going well, what opportunities exist, and what additional supports were needed. And they will tell you, and I'll repeat it here, I ended the call by saying, y'all have energized me. You have come to the table with, after week 1, now particularly in the elementary space, and week 2 for elementary and middle, and week 2 for secondary, they have already started to convene with some tweaks and adjustments we can make to ensure, again, that we're setting our students up for more success. And so we've got some of our teacher leaders right now working on some tools and resources that we're going to be sharing district-wide. As a matter of fact, Dr. Bellamy and his entire team are working on this right now because we immediately, after week 1, said, give us some feedback. We want the feedback. How's it going? What are we hearing? Of course, I've received my own feedback as well that we could layer in to make sure that we're making those adjustments. And again, that happened at the end of week 1 with us being in particularly the curriculum space, and for some schools who went ahead and started their MAP assessment. So we've got some tools and strategies and tips we're going to be sharing, some adjustments we're going to be making here soon based upon the feedback from our teachers and feedback that they brought from their parents and students that will help continue to improve this. And I think, it's important for us to keep reiterating this is fairly new for everyone, right? And we're really, really early on in this process. And so there will be some adjusting and adapting we need to make in order to make sure we're kind of hitting the sweet spot of the rigor that we want in front of our students, but also all the supports, which we kicked off the school year with, are happening for all of our students. So with that feedback, Ms. Bush, I think it's representative of some of the things our teacher leaders are working on right now, so that we can start to make some of those adjustments. And I greatly appreciate those. As I'm hearing little things that we can tweak and adjust, we're doing that, whether that be from the curriculum and instruction side, whether that be from the instructional technology side. We're going to continue to make those adjustments to provide, at least while we're in this virtual environment space, the best experience that we can.
Okay, and I'm gonna ask one more question. I promise I'm not going to take all of your time, but I'll come back to the sports later. But I'll let everybody talk about the academics if they have, whichever way. What my other question is, of course, when it comes to their homework, when it comes to making sure that we are, or the students are being able to transmit their homework, or the assignments that are assigned, it's kind of become a little bit difficult because, of course, some parents don't have printers, and I think it was supposed to be an equity thing that we made sure that we were not going to stress, though that wasn't going to be a stress. And so I noticed that the teachers are still kind of wanting that kind of assignment to be submitted, and it's just kind of impossible to kind of do it because you're trying to take a picture of it, you're trying to send it, you're trying to do this. It's just so many moving parts. So it'd be nice if the assignments were either by Word document or not PDF or anything like that, something that they can easily submit back to the teachers, because some parents are going to pick, of course, we got the packets that are being picked up now, we're getting those in. So we were just trying to figure out ways, like you said, to come up with ways it's going to be much, much easier for our families and, during this virtual time as far as submitting their assignments.
Yes,
and then I'm done with that. Okay.
Yep, and that's one of the adjustments we are making. We have a great tool and resource already available to our teachers, and we're going to be emphasizing that and sharing those, again, tips and tricks to make sure we're not putting undue pressure, stress, or anxiety on our students and families, because there are ways for students not to have to print, not to have to upload, not to have to take a picture and send to their teacher. And so, again, our very own teachers are going to be leading some of these videos, sessions, and documents to support other teachers. And that was the beauty of the conversation on Friday, where one of our wonderful educators said, I'm struggling with this. How do I do this? And immediately, I didn't have to say a word. Immediately, one of their fellow colleagues said, hey, this is what you do in that space. And so we're going to share a lot of that district-wide to support everyone, because everybody has their strengths and talents in this virtual environment. And we're going to begin to leverage everyone's expertise to help alleviate that on our student and family side. So received, and that is one of the specific areas that we're going to be updating and training, continuing to train our staff around.
And thank you. And I won't take you away any longer. I'll let everybody else have their comments and questions, and I'll come back a little later.
Okay. Thank
you.
Ms. Spearing.
Thank you. And Dr. Battle, I just want to say at the top of my questions here, thank you so much for your comments about leaving the board and your appreciation. And I have more to say about that, but I'll wait for a little bit later. I am so appreciative that you are using a measured, phased-in approach. I think the worst thing that we could do is to bring our kids back too soon and then have a spread of COVID and then have to shut schools down. And when we do that, and which has happened, we know, we see it on the news, it just puts everyone in disequilibrium, and it causes hardships on the family. Certainly that translates to kids. So thank you so much for that. And I appreciate so much the partnerships that you have forged with YMCA. I think that's going to take a lot of stress off parents and students. And I also appreciate the fact that you're very thoughtful about the athletics and postponing any kind of competitions and performances. MNPS has become, you have set an example for the rest of Middle Tennessee. And I just want to say you rock. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Spearing. Appreciate your feedback.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Ms. Elrod.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I am going to probably start from the end of the conversation and work towards the beginning of your presentation, if that makes sense. So we can go back and share slides if we need to in a easier method. Okay, so first, I appreciate you hearing the feedback. I know I was pretty vocal about how we needed better laptops for our teachers and laptops for our paraprofessionals. So I appreciate them being prioritized, not only so our teachers can do the job that is needed of them, but so that also our children can learn from them. And so I appreciate that being done and us getting new laptops, not just for our students, but for our teachers to do all the work that needs to be done. I want to try to make sure I'm going in that order, but my questions are maybe out of order for a second. In regards to our students coming back in a tiered approach after fall break, are they going to be allowed to still go to the YMCA even if their tier has returned to school, if their parents choose to do virtual school? So K through 12, we'll say, has come back into the classroom, but the parent wants to still do virtual school, maybe through the end of the year. Are they still going to be able to choose the YMCA as their place to do that?
So our partnership with the YMCA will likely shift once we begin to phase back in, particularly with starting with the elementary schools, where they will likely not be on our site to provide that supervised care. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that our families will continue to have the option, however, of the in-person, the traditional, or the virtual learning space. And so how they structure their virtual learning space is up to the parent, right? And it's up to their structures that they have available. I know we have families working individually. I know we have students coming together to work in really small groups. That will be up to the family. But more than likely, our partnership with the YMCA shifts to more of our traditional space, right? Because remember, we're using sites that are already partners with the Y, which means they typically provide before and after care. The full day care experience during the school year is a new space for them. However, they've been doing it well and doing it well since the schools closed back in March. So the MNPS YMCA partnership for full day will likely transition to the before and after care, since we will be using our facilities for our traditional K-12 experiences.
Okay, so once that grade level is allowed back inside the school building, okay, so I guess the real question is are we going to be doing elementary or K through 12 as one transition?
So we'll be phasing it in. We'll likely start with kind of the pre-K2 space, and then the rest of elementary, then middle, and then high.
So if you had a fourth grader, because so you're down in the elementary school, even though you've not been phased into the classroom yet, you still are not going to be able to go to the Y because that building is being used for that.
Once we phase all the way into fifth grade, that's when you'll see that transition happen.
Got it.
Yeah. And it could very well likely inform the grades in which we transition in first. We just want to do it slow and steady to make sure we have that continuity of learning.
Got it. Some feedback that I've received, though minor feedback, is how come the YMCA is able to do it and our schools are not. So I just want to reiterate, and of course you are welcome to interject, that it's a 10-to-1 ratio, I believe is what we've talked about. And it's a maximum of 60 students at each location. And so obviously the potential for spread is not as much there because it's a much smaller group of kids and a much smaller ratio. Is that true?
That's correct.
Okay. Additionally, because I know we've talked about it, but I want to make sure we've talked about it on the board floor, the YMCA program, no matter what grade, is that program available to students that are exceptional ed if they continue to do virtual school?
Yes, as long as they meet the requirements for the YMCA, that should not be an issue. But I'm also keeping in mind that our most vulnerable population of exceptional education students will be our MNPS staff will be supporting them in their respective schools. And, keeping in mind that that's important because whether a student attends a special day school, one of our contracted schools, or traditional sites, those spaces are unique for those students. And so we want to make sure that their environment, their atmosphere is consistent to help them transition back in and to focus on their development.
Because when we look at, I'm looking at my notes on my phone, so I apologize if it looks like I'm not paying attention. I am. So in that phased approach with exceptional ed, so starting September 23rd would be students with disabilities in a traditional school. So those would be students that have a 504 IEP plan. Mm-hmm. But that would not be all students with a 504 or IEP plan.
Correct.
How are those students being identified as being allowed to come into the school at that time?
Yes, so our exceptional education department, curriculum and instruction team, school teams, and families will actually make those decisions. And so our school teams who know our students and families well have a keen understanding of the students who need those additional supports, who truly cannot access the virtual learning environment. But in that September 23rd phase in, we're talking about students with disabilities in our traditional schools who participate particularly in the modified curriculum. So that's that's not a guarantee, but that's a group of students that we definitely want to explore and have conversations around, or who have significant challenges accessing virtual learning effectively. And our school teams and families have a good understanding about that, particularly because of the process of transitioning the CLIPS into the virtual environment. We learned a lot, but we want to also be supportive of our families, that if a parent feels like maybe they weren't captured there and their student has significant needs, or their needs have grown since we've been out, we have a process by which parents can request an IEP meeting for review to see if their student is eligible.
Okay, so that was my follow-up question, is if a child is not in that original group of students that have been identified, but a parent says, this is actually much more difficult than we expected, or there's something that I need to discuss with you, they would just need to call an IEP meeting as they traditionally would through their rights.
Yes, and they will review it through their process. And I just want to be clear, this is, as you've mentioned, it doesn't mean that every student with the IEP or 504 will be a part of that phase-in process. We have students with exceptionalities who are thriving, who are doing well, who just needs additional accommodations and supports and modifications. And so just being clear about that. But if a parent has a question, a guardian has a question about that, we'll just alert the team. We'll go through the IEP process and make that determination on behalf of that student.
Okay. And then how many students do we think are going to be participating on that September 23rd?
So parents have, this is still an option for parents. They don't have to take us up on this option. We just want to.
And I think there's going to be plenty that don't.
Yeah. There will likely be plenty who don't, and we're anticipating that, and that's okay. We just want to stand ready to support our families. On the high end, we're estimating about 1,500 students being eligible. It's likely that half of the students would take the option of the face-to-face, and so we are going to be working over the next few days, week, to have those conversations with families, help them make those informed decisions, but definitely respecting their decision if they choose to keep their student in the virtual learning space, in which time we will continue to provide our supports and services in the virtual space to the best of our ability, and we're going to exhaust everything we can do to make sure those students are getting what they need.
Okay. This isn't necessarily a question, but it's more of a statement. As most parents that are parents of a child with exceptional ed, it's historically more difficult for them to get employment and to have understanding employment. And so I really appreciate you prioritizing our exceptional ed students and families and making sure that we're better able to serve them during this already challenging time. It's exceptionally stressful for all families right now, but exceptional ed families they really need some more understanding, and I appreciate that they've been prioritized.
Well, thank you. And again, a kudos to our exceptional education team, and really all of our staff across the district who have all expressed their passion, their need to make sure that we're thinking through this through an equity-centered manner and really prioritizing students in an appropriate manner to make sure they're being served accordingly. So thank you for that. And again, kudos to the EE team and every educator out there that's doing the best they can to support everyone.
Thanks. And then my last question is it's not applicable to an individual slide, but I know that we've had some concerns about students that may not be involved in virtual school right now, maybe not necessarily because they're a part of the HERO program with the amazing Catherine, but because frankly at home is not the safer place for them for whatever reason. So I would like to know, what are we doing currently about students that may not be participating at all, or they're not participating as expected through synchronous and asynchronous opportunities to try to guarantee that safety and do that follow-up?
Yes, so we are currently monitoring our active participation for our students in Schoology, and I know we've talked about that in great deal, that we do have a requirement for active participation, and it's not just logging in, so we're checking that daily. Our teachers are also taking account of students who are participating in their synchronous learning opportunities and following up with students who are not there or not actively participating. So we have the effort on the school at the school level, in addition to having a pretty robust attendance plan for every school. And so every school has the resources and tools. This is what you do when they miss day 1 versus day 5 versus day 10, and how you alert that through our system. In addition to that, our student supports team and our EO office in particular are drilling down as well to the individual student to see what the needs are. And so based upon their outreach, as well as the outreach at the school, we're able to say, oh, this is because you don't have a device. We're bringing a device to you. Oh, this is about connectivity. We're bringing that to you. Or whatever the need might be. It might be translation supports or just training on the device. And so we're being very flexible, very creative in that space to make sure that we're following up with every student. This week, we also launched our Navigator program, and we have some schools might call it something different, but our district title for it is Navigators, where we're doing the one-on-one check-ins with every student. And so again, we've got the individual teachers following up, we've got the school district support team following up, and in particular our EL office, as well as our navigators following up. And those navigators are not necessarily the assigned teacher, but an adult who is doing care calls to make sure our students have what they need. It's also important to mention, with this question, that our school sites remain accessible. And so if students have a need to stop by, to call, to report that our school sites are open, there's always someone at the site who can receive that information. And so we'll continue to push out supports, and we'll continue to have our mindful minutes and need to know for our student options during the day, but we're trying to pull out all the stops to make sure that all of our students are connected and that they have what they need to be successful in this space. We're a few days out from having our whole enrollment balance happen. I mean, this happens in the traditional space. It takes a few weeks for that to happen. So as soon as we get that pretty cleaned up based upon the feedback we receive from families, we have an opportunity to be even more intentional with regards to the students we should be expecting to engage every single day.
Okay. And then I guess my last question, sorry, we have someone entering the room. So the last question that I have is in response to, oh dang, I lost my train of thought. You know what? Go on to Jeannie Poopa Walker and I will get back to you. I am so sorry. I will get back to you. Please excuse me, Chair Folk.
Yeah, that's all right. Ms. Poopa Walker, we'll come back to you next.
I'm sorry I threw you off, Ms. Elrod. A couple of questions. One, I want to say to folks that are tuning in tonight, we have heard from so many parents, particularly elementary school parents. We hear you. We understand this is a critically difficult, challenging time. Folks have to work. Young people don't learn well on laptops. We hear it. We know it. We're trying to do the best we can. And I just want folks to know that we are reading every email and feeling the pain. I want to ask you, do we have a sense for how many students perhaps haven't logged on or haven't showed up yet online? Are we tracking students that maybe we think are enrolled but maybe haven't appeared online, if there's a sense for that yet?
Yes, we have a pretty good sense. Of course, we're still early on from balancing out rosters. And so with regards to our average attendance, we're about 91% of students actively engaging every day, which leaves us about a 9% absentee rate. But all indications for students we might have to move off of our rosters, that's about around 6 to 7% of actual numbers of students, which is a very manageable number of students for us to be following up with and making sure they are connecting on a daily basis. And that's not to indicate that they haven't connected or actively engaged at all. We're seeing shifting from day to day for students. Gotcha. And part of this is just educating them, because we've had conversations that say, you are working, but you have to log on to Schoology every day in order for your attendance to count. So we're still on our campaign to say this is how we account for active participation. Our teachers have guidance around what to do in those scenarios when students are keeping pace, they are completing their tasks, their assessments, etc., but have not connected. But we are continuing to push to our students and families that you must log on and actively engage in Schoology every day for your attendance to count. So very promising numbers early on for that active engagement, but we want every day to count for every student. So we'll continue to push that.
Yep. So let me ask you, I know the Department of Ed, USDA, Department of Agriculture has said that they're not going to continue to allow free lunch for all students. Have you guys been in conversations? Have you begun to think about what that might mean for students MNPS? This is a recent Trump kind of ruling, USDA ruling.
So early conversations, we have different conversations happening in different spaces. Thank you, Ken, for coming on, because I believe we fall under a different provision with regards to our meals, but please chime in.
Sure. Thank you. So yes, the special summer option that we were able to use all spring, which allowed us to feed all children 18 and under based on area eligibility, officially stopped the day that school started back. That's been a national USDA decision. We've worked with the state, we've worked regionally, the Council of Great City Schools, the School Nutrition Association, manufacturers, all lobbying USDA to have that special summer option restored. USDA again issued a statement this week saying no. So what that has meant is that as we transitioned into the school year, things from the food delivery perspective look very much like a traditional school year. Students getting meals at a CEP eligible school get the breakfast and lunch for free. Breakfast is free for everybody across the district. If they are in if they go to a non-CEP school, if they qualify through the traditional process, then they get free lunch as well as the free breakfast. If they don't qualify under those provisions, then we debit their lunch account for the price of the lunch. So it's a real paperwork challenge. So it means that at every stop they've got to write the student's name, their school, their grade, their ID number if they have it. Administratively it's a hassle, but it seems to be working.
Students are accruing debt right now if they accept meals from the bus.
If they are a non-qualifying student in a non-CEP school.
Right. Okay.
So
this is a good opportunity for folks to advocate to the USDA, perhaps. Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Right. And as Ken said, I know the Council of Great City Schools has been doing a lot of advocacy in this space.
Okay. So very excited about the school nurses. do we feel like we can fill all those spots? Are there enough nurses in our universe?
Early indications suggest that we can, and of course, we would like to move on that as quickly as possible, so everybody will be established at the point in time we begin to phase back in all of our students. So we're working closely with Nicole Bull, who's working closely with the Metro Health Department to ensure we can meet that need.
Okay, I appreciate that. I appreciate all y'all's hard work. Thanks to all of our staff.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Elrod.
Thank you, Chair Frog and Dr. Battle. I apologize. I had a child and puppy situation coming through the door that I needed to spare you from. So, I guess my follow-up last question is we've gotten some communication. It's not been an incredible amount of communication, but there's some concern, particularly for our younger students and the difficulty they have with managing the synchronous and asynchronous portions, be it because there's just a lot of management that needs to take place with parents, whether it's because they don't know how to type, because they don't know what the word mute means, whatever it might be. It's just requiring a lot more management of parents. And so a lot of the conversations and questions that we get from these parents are, is there an opportunity or a possibility that the amount of work that's required or the type of work that's required is going to change throughout the year, whether that's when they transition into school and they choose to still go virtually, or if they choose to do virtual throughout? Is there ongoing opportunities to change some of those requirements and have some more grace and flexibility to parents so they're better able to manage it?
Yes, I'm going to channel my classroom role and just say that's what we do as educators. Like I said, last week was the first week for elementary students to be in the curriculum portion of what they're accessing in Schoology. And so immediately, it might have even been on Thursday or Friday, we came together to say, what do we need to be thinking about? What do we need to be shifting? What do we need to be adjusting as we move forward? And part of what we're going to be rolling out fairly soon are some of those guidance documents that will say, now that we know more, all right, now that we know more, here's how we need to balance this out for our students. And so for families, parents who've expressed that, we've heard you, and we want to make sure that, one, we're giving our students a quality experience. We definitely don't want to assume that they can't, because we know they can and they will, but we want to make sure that we're being responsive to that. And so again, some of those adjustments will be coming fairly soon to make sure that things are manageable, that we're meeting all the requirements that we should be meeting, but it's all manageable as far as the mode and method by which we continue to support and grow our students. So adjustments, will be coming, supports will be coming, because, part of just how we release the modules and the tasks, how we kind of checklist it so students can follow what they should be doing, because you might be on module 3, but I don't expect you to do all module 3 on Tuesday. That might be a week or 2 weeks worth of task. And so we're going to give some more guidance and supports to all of our teachers to help manage in that space. And again, I think it's just kind of adapting to where we see our students are. And we definitely didn't want to assume that our students couldn't, because they've shown us a lot about what they can do since we've been in this virtual environment.
Sure. I mean, as I have tried to say to lots of parents, I mean, the plans have been well researched and well thought out. In practice, it's always something different. And so the feedback is appreciated and needed so that we know what that experience is actually like, that user experience. And I'm glad to hear that we will continue to ebb and flow as needed and be responsive to that feedback. And then lastly, I want to just make sure that we're clear, because not a lot of parents, but some parents do want their students back in the classroom for whatever reason it may be. And so are we still aiming towards the Nashville plan as the benchmark of how we do that transition plan for pre-K through second and so on? Where are the measures that they can find that we're trying to hit?
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, it's a combination. Of course, the Nashville plan was really grounded in the city's plan as well. And we've learned a lot more, and it's important that we adjust to that. And so we've seen some new metrics be introduced that really help better describe, for the lack of a better word, where we are, where our local context is. And so it's still very much grounded in our city's plan, which aligns to our Nashville plan. And we're making those same adjustments as the Metro government is making those adjustments. We are too. But we're also taking advisement from our health officials with regards to the spread. And we've seen a significant spike in school age cases over the last 2 weeks since schools started to open. And so they're making sure we're very aware of that information. Of course, all the guidance that's coming from the various organizations to help inform how we move forward. So, a compilation of all of that. And we have to be aware of also of what's happening around us, because we know that schools and school districts have attempted to open and have had to close. And so we want to be mindful of that we have a sustainable plan as we move forward. So we're following all of those metrics. We're grounded in the Nashville plan, and we will continue to take advisement of all the health officials and experts with regards to best informing our phased-in approach.
That's all I got. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I was talking with my microphone muted. I have dogs in the room, so thank you, Ms. Elrod and Dr. Nabama-Kinney. I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Battle, for the update and for your thoughtful leadership. I just had a few questions, and it may be reiterating what some of the questions that have come up. But wanted to re-ask the question again around the options for continual virtual learning as that transition and that phased approach comes in. From what I understand, and just want to kind of reiterate that, is as students begin to phase in those tiered sections, parents will still have the option of doing remote learning on the virtual platform for their children, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and then as a result of that, will students still be able to provide, have teacher support during that time in a virtual platform, and what will that look like?
Yes, we will be continuing on with our framework as it's currently built, and of course making the most informed decisions as we need to make shifts and adapt, but it will likely mirror the structures that we have in place with the aligned teacher support. We're also going to make sure we're communicating to our families what the traditional option looks like, because the traditional option on October 12th is not the same traditional option from October 12th of last year. And so we're going to make sure our families are aware of what's going to be different for students once we begin to phase in. I mean, we could likely still be at a place where large gatherings can happen. They might be eating lunch in the classroom. I mean, all kinds of variations in the scenarios we've already built based upon our context at that time. And so we'll continue to take social distancing efforts to help mitigate the spread regardless of when we phase in.
Thank you. My second question is around the YMCA and the opportunity for parents to be able to connect with the YMCA. I know you said that the enrollment availability starts right after Labor Day, where parents can utilize the services with the YMCA. What are the qualifications for parents to be able to use this? Is this just for essential workers? What does that look like?
Yeah, so just one point of clarification, they can start identifying ASAP.
Okay.
Tomorrow, hopefully things will be up and running. By then they will start after Labor Day.
Okay. So thank you for the clarification.
Registration process. And part of the enrollment is the parents will have to just communicate, identify, document that they are a working parent or guardian, and the supervision is needed for them to provide for their family. And so that's the accommodating space that the YMCA is in, that if a parent needs a supervision for them, for their work experience, structures, and to provide for their families, then this no-cost opportunity will be available to them.
Okay, thank you. The other question around that is, I know we are limiting it to 60 students per site. And so at how soon is the turnaround to be able to increase that? Are those structures already in place for you to think about that expansion? And can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So,
and I know these are we're asking the same, but I just want to make sure that we are.
No problem. So as I mentioned earlier, the partnerships with the YMCA are being phased in based upon already existing partnerships. So they're already kind of in compliance, for the lack of a better word, with the standards that we would need, space and resources and tools that's already established in these spaces. We've already identified kind of what the next phase would look like, which schools, how and when. We've already identified that to help easily transition. Again, some of our extended learning staff will be supporting the YMCA, albeit on the training and on the initial on-the-ground supports to make sure we have the success of our students. But as we're going to stay in close communication, we always have. Jennifer Bell leads those conversations with our partners in the extended day care, extended experience world. And so she'll continue to monitor with their lead, their contact, to see if we're nearing capacity at any site. But I also want to take the opportunity to reference that we're expanding 7 sites for Metro Nashville Public Schools. They run other sites as well, and our families will have access to those too. So we have 7, but there are others that are not at capacity that, if they're more convenient for families, that they could also leverage.
Great, thank you. The next question that I have is, and I appreciate and thank you for really being intentional and listening to families with exceptional, in the exceptional ed population, and the phased-in approach that you're looking to do related to that. For families, and these are specific questions that have come to me, and if you could address around parents who choose not to send their children, part of that exceptional ed population that choose not to send their children to schools in that phased-in approach, but want paraprofessionals to come to their home. Can you talk a little bit about that, please?
I mean, it is kind of simply put, because of the current context that we're in, the precautionary measures we want to take, and the spread of the virus, we will provide 2 opportunities for those structured services, them being the option to come in and provide those services in the school buildings, or the virtual learning supports, which wouldn't include a paraprofessional or a program specialist coming into the home. It would include their paraprofessional program specialist providing virtual supports to the student, their teletherapy services, whatever the student may need. But because of the context with where we are with the spread of the virus in our city, we're not able to send our employees into the homes of students. We continue to be creative and innovative, like we're doing here around our phase-in approach, to continue to meet the needs of our students. And one way we're doing that is to say, we can't send them in, but here is a phase-in approach by which we are happy to welcome our students back in to receive a smaller ratio support to support their needs.
Okay, thank you. And so just to clarify and kind of summarize what you're saying is students in that exceptional ed population that need a paraprofessional can come in during that phased-in approach to receive services, but if they remain virtual, those services will not be provided in their homes, correct?
So their services will be provided.
They will be provided online, virtually, but not in their homes. Correct. All right, thank you. I just wanted to make sure. The next question I have is about the navigators. So there was a little confusion, I think, about navigators versus, I believe, the paraprofessionals are those that are supporting specifically the EE population. So our navigators are supporting all students.
Navigators are supporting all students.
Okay, and can you reiterate what the role of the navigator will be?
Yeah, so the navigator is an adult that serves that particular learning community who will take the time to have one-on-one check-ins for students. And we have scripts and resources that we're going to be providing just to do what essentially care calls to students. They'll have a small caseload to make sure they're following up with the same student week over week, and they're able to connect students for additional resources. They will not be the only adult reaching out, because students will also get their support from their classroom teacher, other counselors and mentors that they have on site. But we really wanted a very coordinated effort to ensure that every student, regardless of the school they're in, grade level, or classes that they attend, has that caring adult who will help them navigate this virtual space. So whether it be, I need something because something is happening at home, I need a device, food, I just need a mentor, someone to help support me through this, then that navigator is going to help them be connected to those resources to ensure their success in the virtual environment.
Thank you. And so for families who have not been able to connect with a navigator or haven't heard with a navigator, how are they able to begin that connection?
Yeah, so some schools, you know how this happens. Some schools have they started year one because they had a similar structure in place. And so we did not have those schools reinvent the wheel. I mean, a few examples of that. I know IT Crestwell, they always had their school parent is what they called, who we're categorizing as their navigator. Donaldson Middle School already had their system set up because our educators know you have to do this. This is important. Right. To the social emotional well-being of our students. Some schools needed to go a little bit slower at it. Particularly elementary space, you're getting new students in who are starting school, so we want to make sure we set the appropriate foundation. High schools have had the advisory model for a while, and so they need time to balance out schedules and to know who's going to be following up with who. So we're just now entering into the space that we're saying everybody should be getting their navigator system up and running. So by the time we hit Labor Day, everyone should be in the space of navigators. You know who your connection is. I mean, things might shift every now and then. I can't promise we won't have roles and responsibilities shift, but the whole idea and goal is to have someone who's constantly following up and checking in with the student.
Great, thank you. And then I have another question. I'm sorry, I'm hitting you with all the questions real quick. I have another question that and some feedback that has come around our ELL population and access to translators and those translators helping students navigate and helping parents navigate the virtual learning experience. Can you talk a little bit about what the ELL department is doing and some of your challenges, if any, that you're having in that area?
Yes, our EL department is doing tremendous work, as well as our school leaders who are working on the ground with all of our families. They've been hard at work. They've been busy. Their enrollment numbers are huge every day and increasing as we move forward. They've been pretty innovative. I think I might have mentioned this happened after the last board meeting. I probably provided in a board update that our EL office is now the hub for devices, hotspots, needs for our EL families when they enroll, because we want to make sure that that translation support is there, interpretation support is there. To provide to our families, and they're simply in a social distancing way, getting them logged on, getting them the tools and resources they need before they leave the enrollment office. And so that was a shift we immediately made when we started looking at our numbers and following which students were connecting, which ones not, and feedback from our parents. They have also been going out to schools and setting up somewhat of support hubs for students and families, that if they just needed to stop by for a moment to get additional support or direction on how to navigate in the virtual environment space, families have been able to do that. I know we've had a large group, Molly Stovall and her team have been out at Glenview, for instance. So our central office staff has been going out, and our student services team just released a plan earlier this week to leverage many more of our central office staff members to go out to schools to be available to support families, as well as our translators to support families in this space. And I might recall that prior to the start of the school year, we had our translators come back on payroll early to help prepare for the start of the school year. And I saw Hank come on for just a minute. He's probably going to mention some of the other needs that have been identified from our EO department.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And our translators are actually a little bit separate from the EL department, just for people's information right now. And of course, that was a priority of this board in the budget season, was to provide more translation services. And so, you know, the need is out there for sure. So thank you.
And I will just say, Dr. Nabama McKinney, that we have daily update meetings, and part because our English learners and our exceptional education students and other populations are a priority for us, we receive daily.
Right.
Well, this week we just shifted to Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but we've been receiving for the last several weeks daily updates to make sure that we are adjusting to those needs. And so I'm very thankful for the team in pivoting and doing what's necessary to get everyone connected.
Great, thank you. And then my final question, I apologize, I'm going to finish up. I just want, Ms. Elrod had mentioned about the virtual learning platform, the FLVS, for early learners. I have a first grader, so I can empathize with Ms. Elrod and many of the families in our district with early learners, and just the intense workload that students are experiencing there. So I'm happy to hear that the district is in tune with that and beginning to support teachers and administrators across the district to help parents and to kind of spread out that curriculum. One example that we looked at was one module having 14 different slides with that, so at a second grade level. And so it, you know, just taking the time to do that and help support early learners in that process with that load. Thank you, and I'm very appreciative of it as a parent myself, and in listening to many of our parents across the district. So thank you again. I truly appreciate your attention to all of that and really listening to families and teachers and across the district with many of their experiences and working to adjust appropriately. And before I get off, I do want to say thank you to Jill and Amy on your leadership. I just joined with the board, but I was very appreciative at the way in which you welcomed me into the board and really met with me. And so thank you so much for the work and leadership that you have done and your commitment to MNPS and the MNPS family. So thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Berthina. I appreciate that. Ms. Bush, I believe, has a few more comments and questions.
Yes, I had a few more questions as far as the YMCA, just a few more questions surrounding the virtual look, and then I'll move on to the athletics. As far as the YMCA, how soon will the link be up to sign those families up for their students? So how would that look online so that they'll know exactly what to do? Because after tonight, they're going to be online, okay? They're going to be ready.
Yes, and I believe it is up now on our website, and we'll also be sending out a communication to families as soon as possible, and hopefully likely tonight, as soon as we get done, and a call out to inform parents on how to access that link. So it's up now and ready to go.
So my son works at Camp Widgewagen, so he just shared with me that the phones were ringing off the hook on Friday. So he said they're almost at capacity, but they still have space. So that's something I want to share with you. And then the second question, teachers. I wanted to talk a little bit about teachers and the PPE and the safety measures if we return to school, and kind of how that looks on the planning and preparation. I know teachers have had serious questions and concerns surrounding safety going back to school. They love their students. They want to be back with their students, but they want to make sure that it's safe. Can you share with us and talk to us a little bit about those measures?
Yes, so through various means, and Ken, if you want to come on and add to this discussion, there's various means by which we have secured PPE for our teachers. And so I believe in their kits, they will receive a supply of masks, they will receive a face shield, they will receive, I think it's hand sanitizer. Ken, you want to jump in?
Sure. Good afternoon. We've got a lot of PPE, and it is coming from a variety of sources. Just to give you a little bit of a sense, early in the late spring, June timeline, we ordered about 1.6 million disposable masks for students. Though we have those on hand, a portion of those have been delivered to schools. They went out last week. Some are going out this week. The state, received a shipment from the state. They provided us with another 1.6 million disposable masks for students. We got those in the warehouse last week. We'll distribute those as we get closer to students returning in person. The state has set up a process where schools will, from this point forward, will request a variety of different PPE that they may need, including masks, sanitizer. I think face shields are on the state's list as well, and those will be ongoing monthly shipments. We also bought about 13,000 gallons of hand sanitizer. It was enough for at least a gallon for every teacher, plus 10% at schools. A lot of that has already been distributed to schools. We have purchased about 60,000 face shields for teachers and for students to use. We've got some additional plans to buy additional sanitizer as we see the need. We're trying to be really prudent with the money. We're not, and because the state has stepped up and started providing supplies, we're trying not to have giant stockpiles and work with what they're providing, and to make sure that we've got a good balance. The other thing that I should mention, the state provided 2 cloth masks for every staff member. The district bought about 20,000 cloth masks that also we pushed out in late July, early August. We've got another 30,000, I believe, that are on order that we're expecting to come in shortly. And then the state will also be providing, they'll give the schools a choice. They can either provide cloth masks for teachers at the rate of 2 per month, or they can provide 1 disposable mask per teacher per month. So there's a lot of PPE available. The one item that's a little difficult to come by right now, we bought about 11,000 hand wipes containers that we're in the process of distributing. The state is providing some, but that seems to be the item that we can't get even with long lead times. So,
and I think in addition to that, I don't know if you mentioned the thermometers that are being provided to every site and sneeze guards. I mean, and this is why I asked Ken to come on, because we're taking extreme efforts to make sure we have PPE and the protections in place. We've also, Ms. Bush, to your question, worked with SEIU, MNEA, USW to make sure that those leaders are around the table with regards to needed PPE for all staff and for students.
Okay. And another note about safety, how are our school buildings looking right now? So when I hear about all the PPE, it's a lot of material. So how does it look in our schools when they go back? Of course, we've seen a lot from other school districts how they, got the little feet on the ground, 6 feet, apart, and classrooms may have the barriers around the desk. Is that something that we're doing also, or how does it look?
We've provided a number of signs to schools. There's still some work to be done on that front as schools develop their specific plans and how they look. You probably won't see, we have provided, we're calling them sneeze guards internally, but I don't think that's the official term, but plexiglass shields for the front offices and those kind of high traffic spaces across the district. Part of the face shield numbers, part of our concern with the desktop units that you see is they protect going forward, but they don't extend back past where the child sits. So if a child turns to their side and sneezes, it goes around the barrier. So we're looking at the face shields as a little bit better protectant for everybody than those desktop units. So I think I got your question, but they're working through some of the building specific plans.
Okay, and so we'll be prepared just in case we transition back into the classroom. We'll pretty much have all those plans in place. Okay, and by working with SEIU, MNEA, it's always a tongue tie here, but so they're at the table and they're having the conversations, and I would assume that they're also playing a part of the transition back to the schools and having a conversation about how it looks and how safe they feel that they'll be. So all this conversation is happening. Is that correct?
Correct. That's correct.
Okay. All right, that's all for that. And then if anybody, I want to just go into sports, and I know it's getting late, but I wanted to make sure I address the concerns that surrounding the sports and the decisions of the cancellation of athletics and extracurriculars. My first question is, as far as there was a letter that went out on July 29th. I think it went either to the mayor's office or came from the mayor's office, and I think we had all signatures that were on there. And I think it was the committee that was listed as far as the information on the letter that was asking, of course, to suspend athletics and extracurriculars. Could you kind of expound on that?
You're talking about the letter that was postponing until after Labor Day initially?
Yes, that one.
Yes. So that came through the Nashville Plan Committee that Dr. Jahungir and myself were co-chairing. And so that advisement, based upon the level of the spread of the virus at the time, was for us to delay the start of competitions until after Labor Day, given the local context.
Okay. And so on the committee, I guess in here, I'm going to wear, I'm not a coach, but I'm going to wear the coach's hat right now because this is where all the concerns are coming from. So I want to make sure that I ask their question. And one of the reasons why I think it's maybe a little bit frustrating for the coaches, and it's not just for football. We're talking about soccer. We're talking about golf. We're talking about all that falls under the umbrella, that they feel that they don't have a seat at the table. They feel like they are being left out of the equation when it comes to making these decisions for our students. And of course, I also, like I always say, I always try to do my homework before I come to the board meeting, so that way I can make sure that I can best be able to articulate the cares and concerns. Again, they're trying to figure out, why they don't have a seat at a table. Why? Because principals also are having the same concerns. And I did hear you say that there will be multiple meetings this week that's going to be able to, you'll be able to talk to the principals and hopefully the coaches and kind of get their feedback and input. And right now, I know that it's been suspended, but I'm hoping that after having these conversations within this week or the next couple of weeks, that there will be some type of, I would say, some options, more options on making and help, and so that our kids can compete. So saying that, one of the members that's on the board or on the committee, I think his name is Brad. I think it's pronounced Jaya or Joya.
Which committee are you referring to?
The same one on the letter. Is it Brad Joya? Yeah, he's the headmaster of the MBA. Okay. So he's the headmaster of Montgomery Bell Academy. So the question and concern was raised is why he was making the recommendation or signed off on the recommendation, and yet his players are playing.
I have no information about that. That's speculation as far as I know, because I don't govern MBA or any of the other schools that are represented. So I have no known knowledge of them playing right now. Okay, so they are playing next week. And so I guess, again, it goes back, and this is just a coach's hat I'm wearing because I'm trying to, ask questions on their behalf. And so they are saying, is it good for the goose and not the gander? Is it good for MBA headmaster to sign off on a letter telling us that we cannot, or to suspend any athleticism until after Labor Day, but yet his team is playing next week in Memphis? And so that's what we need to try to figure out and get those questions answered. Again, I mean, I don't know of them to have played a game yet, and I don't know of them preparing to play a game yet. I know that everybody had schedules, so I don't know what's on their schedule, but I think this goes back to context. I mean, I definitely don't govern or have authority over any other school or school district, but it's also why you see every school district in a different space right now, because everybody needs to respond based upon their local context. Hopefully they're following the data, the metrics, and the science, and the guidance from the health officials or experts, but they have to make those informed decisions for their schools and their school districts. It's also why there's not a uniformed approach to what schools are doing right now, because it all depends on your local context and your needs. We're also comparing one school to an entire school district, which is difficult to do given any measures to mitigate the spread of the virus. But again, I can't speak to what any other specific school is doing with regards to now or for the future, unless something happens, and then I can reference it, but I'm unaware of that right now.
Okay, so I just wanted to bring it to your attention that that is occurring and that they are having a game next week at St. Benedict in Memphis, and they are having contact sports. I think the major concern is, and I'll just say it again and we'll move on, I think what the coaches are saying is that how is it that we have someone on the committee, a headmaster, that's making decisions for MNPS athletes when he's doing, he's actually allowing his team to play. So that's what I just wanted to, again, I'm just trying to bring it out so I can make sure that I'm getting all their questions answered and be able to be transparent on what they wanted to be heard. So I just wanted to make that that comment for them. And then also we have, this is what they're asking. So the question is, so we do have, of course, all our private schools that are in Davidson County. They are in Davidson County. They're not in other counties. And we do compete against those private schools. And I'm just trying to figure out with Jahanger, Dr. Jahanger, that's it. Okay, I got his last name. He's made recommendations for MNPS.
I think you're muted, Ms. Bush.
Okay, I'm sorry. That little thing wavers over. Okay, so I just go back. So they want to know, of course, I was saying that we play private schools in our district as far as in Davidson County, right? So they're not outside the county, and we do compete against them. The question is, what is Johanger, Dr. Johanger, saying different to them than us? So he's making recommendations about MNPS, and so we're trying to figure out what's the recommendations made for the private schools. Is that something that is across Davidson County, or is it specific to a district schools?
So with regards to the Nashville Planning Committee, remember that committee comprised of representatives from all different types of schools, not for the purpose of giving a one-size-fits-all approach. This was our discussion around the metrics, the guidance that we were going to receive in order to inform reopening for our schools and being able to maintain that. And so every school system or type of school is equipped with the same information. Each type of school and leader has to make an informed decision with regards to reopening and convening extracurricular activities. Those are individual decisions. We don't govern them at all, nor could I require them to do anything, nor Dr. Jahanger in that space. I mean, he does have the ability as the COVID task force chair to put forth orders and guidance from his seat. Our plan is grounded in safety. We have to make sure and ensure that we are prioritizing the safety of our students, of our employees, and their families. And that's what has grounded our decision making and our path moving forward. I cannot speak to anybody else's process or plan or what they choose to do. But what we do know is happening is that those in certain scenarios where schools have reopened or convened groups, that we've seen spikes in cases, we've seen closures, we've seen entire teams being quarantined. We've seen that happen over and over again. And so it's also about the risk level that one would be willing to take. We have continued to keep safety at the forefront of the decision making for our students to make sure they're safe, and hopefully have those experiences once conditions allow. And so that would be the kind of the defining factor on the Nashville Planning Committee, and how one responds to the next steps based upon the data, metrics, and science that's before them.
Gotcha. And so my next question on the science and, of course, safety. So we have to commend our coaches, all of them, every sport, who did condition, who did work out this summer, and we have to commend them that they've done an excellent job, because as we understand, and we did not, from what we know, did not have any COVID cases from them conditioning. So they really followed the safety guidelines that were put in place. So we should be very, very, very proud of what they've done. And so that leads to, if they've done it then, why can't they do it now? So again, this is coming from coaches that are saying we have done a great job to make sure that our students are safe when we practice, when we're conditioning, and they just feel like they are not getting the fair shake to be able to play. Now, we know that most of our kids in metro schools are Black and brown kids, and they want to make sure that it's equity, and they don't feel that it's equitable right now, because we have.
Brian, we've lost you there.
Yes, okay, I'm back. I'm back. I saw it this time. And so they want to make sure that their children, our kids, is being treated with equity. And that's what they're not seeing, and they feel very, very strong about that, because they do see, again, the private schools of Davidson County that are playing, that are practicing, that are being able to compete, and yet our students, MNPS, just us, are not being able to do that. And of course, I just mentioned safety is always important, and they have done a great job making sure that that happened in 6 weeks, that they have been doing this. So they feel like it's like about the haves and the have-nots. Well, so those who, and I'll finish up real quick, but this is what they're at. This is why for them to have a seat at the table, to be able to have the discussion, for them way before now, way before now, to be able. Okay.
I'll talk about it.
Yeah, so I know they've had a representation to speak, but they want to speak. Like I said, I've spoken with our principals that also have a part of this conversation, and they also feel the same way. So during this week, I'm sure when you have, the meetings and conversations with the principals, again, we ask, bring the coaches to the table. They want a voice too. They want to be able to answer those questions, and for you to be able to see them and be able to hear from them. That's what they're asking for. So I'm hoping that will happen. I heard you say it will happen this week, or within the next couple of weeks. But you can respond to that.
Yes. So a few things. Just a reminder that we're in, phase 2 of our city plan, which allows, specific schools and types of schools to make their own decision. To be quite, transparent and frank, we've seen not only high schools be in this space, we've seen it happen at the collegiate level, we've seen it at the professional level as well. Everyone is taking extreme precautions with regards to contact sports, and with regards to the safety measures that have been in place. We have been following up with our coaches to make sure those safety measures are in place. But I would like to recall that we have a number of cases and students who've had to quarantine or self-isolate based upon the still social distancing efforts that we've had with our team's conditioning. So we are not free of positive cases or close contacts being identified with some of our teams. We have, over the last several weeks, been having our updates, go out to our coaches, but our athletic director has been making individual visits to schools to, just make sure we're in compliance, because we want safety to be where it is, but to also engage in that dialogue. This is, quite frankly, a larger conversation and decision when it comes to safety for all students. And I know, again, we focus a lot on football, but we also have to be mindful of all the other, sports that are happening. So I understand where we are with the various sports, but we have to be thinking about all the various activities that are happening at one time and keeping everybody safe. So we'll continue. Our team is already engaged in conversations, they will continue to do so. And again, the recommendation right now is to postpone them into further notice so that hopefully we can salvage some of the experience and some of the gains and performance opportunities for all of our students. But the safe thing to do right now, and based upon the guidance that was issued by the health department, is that if your local context doesn't allow for you not to be in a virtual space, then we should not resume contact sports in particular, interscholastic activities until it's safe to do so. But we'll continue to engage in that dialogue as we move forward.
Okay, and I think that's kind of where they feel that, you know, engaging in that conversation is something they definitely want to have, and they want to have that seat at the table. As we know, I'm sorry. And as we know, it's not, well, I'm talking about all sports. I was a track, you know, I ran track for McGavick. So I was on the Coach Tribune and the late Coach Smith. So I understand how it is very important to be with another mentor. And these students have done a fantastic job. They're not on the streets. They're not committing crimes. They have an outlet where they can go and yes, be able to continue their athleticism. And then we also have to be mindful about scholarships. We do have students that are athletes that depend on scholarships, where parents unfortunately are in such a social economic disadvantage, and that's kind of where most of our boys or girls also depend on. They work so hard to get there, and this is their last year. So we just want to make sure that everything is played into this context to make sure that our students are getting, you know, that type of support also. And also, of course, our academics are virtual, of course. All these are different. All these play a part, and they're all different departmentally. So we know that, but we just want to make sure that everybody is having the conversation, and that's what's so important, because they want to feel just like with our Reimagine. We talk about our people. We want to make sure that our people are included and at the table and have these kind of conversations, so that everyone feel like they're a part of the decision making. So I just wanted to make mention of that. Again, I was just wearing my coach's hat to make sure that I was being able to be a voice for our students also, because our students hadn't even had a chance to weigh in, or our parents. So just wanted to make sure that we just need to be mindful of that, and making sure that, you know, all parties who are a part of this, you know, will have a seat at the table. So I appreciate you. I know it was a lot of questions, and thank you for all your answers. And I just want to make sure that everybody who's listening tonight will be able to hear, you know, what's the next steps. So thanks so much.
Thanks.
Okay, Ms. Buggs.
Hi, Dr. Battle. I have one question about the hours for the day schools when we start to transition them. So the first week on the 9th, we're starting with the contracted day schools. The next week, we're working with MNPS day schools. Is it going to be for a full 8 to 4, or I'm sorry, 8 to 3, or 8:30 to, you know, just what will be the times? Will the students
if they will be their normal school hours.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments before we move on? It's been a long meeting. I know we're getting tired. Okay, so we are now to announcements, and I'm just gonna, actually, before I get to announcements, let me just make a quick comment. Made some really sweet remarks by Dr. Battle about me and Jill, and I feel as board chair, I would be remiss if I failed to also honor my friend and colleague, Jill Spearing, as I've honored Dr. Battle tonight. Jill has been a fierce advocate for the needs of our students. Not only is she an 8-year veteran of the school board, but she's also a 35-year veteran of the district. So I want to thank Jill for sharing her knowledge, expertise, and wisdom, particularly in the area of literacy these 8 years. I'd also like to thank her for remaining child-centered in her work. Jill and I met at the very first campaign party I attended when I first ran for school board in 2012, and I really would not have made it through 8 years of public service without her friendship. And so happy retirement to Jill, and we made it. All right, I'll go around the table now for remarks and announcements, and we will start with Dr. Gentry. Okay. Yep. Is Dr. Gentry still on the call? All right, let's move on to Ms. Elrod. All right.
I'm here. I'm sorry.
Okay. Ms. Elrod, go ahead.
Sorry, I had mine written out and I wanted to pull it up.
That's okay.
So I, again, appreciate everyone attending this morning's evaluation, because I guess this is really more an evaluation committee meeting report. I appreciate everyone attending the evaluation committee meeting that we had at 4 o'clock today. Updated information about that will be going out soon. If you have any questions about it, you're always welcome to call or email me so people know, so it's on the record. We went over the 2020 summer formative evaluation for both Dr. Battle, done by Dr. Battle as a self-evaluation, and then all of us individually and what our individual evaluations were on Dr. Battle. So I appreciate everyone's participation in that. And then lastly, for the send-off, I would like to thank Jill Smearing and Amy Frog for their many years of service to the Metro Nashville School Board. They have both proven themselves to be passionate leaders, and I appreciate their commitment to our public schools, instruction, and our students. And I hope you both enjoy your retirement, but still answer your phone when I call. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel Ann. All right, Ms. Spearing.
Thank you, Ms. Frog. Thank you, Rachel Ann and Amy and Berthina, for your very kind words. This is my last meeting after 8 years on the board and 35 in education. It's a bittersweet moment. I want to start off by sharing that my appreciation for Emily Masters for running a great campaign and the big win that she achieved. She will be sworn in on Thursday, and she will occupy this seat in 2 weeks. You all will love her. Emily is full of enthusiasm and expertise and passion for education of children and teachers. As a long-term educator, before I took my seat on the board floor, I was interested in working on the other side of the table, being a part of the decision-making rather than a recipient of the decisions made. Sometimes difficult, but mostly productive, the work on this board has been very enlightening. Over the last 8 years, I've worked with 4 directors, including 2 interims. During the last 8 years, I've been involved in 3 superintendent searches. At last, we have stability. Thank you, Dr. Battle, and I hope you stay in this position for decades. There have been many wonderful experiences that I treasure and that I will cherish throughout time. I've had the opportunity to work with many excellent educators and district leaders I admire. Just last week, in her speech to accept the Democratic Party's nomination for vice president, Kamala Harris quoted Joe Biden when she stated, "We stand with our allies and we stand up to our adversaries." I want to repeat that. We stand with our allies and we stand up to our adversaries. The late John Lewis said, if you see something that's not right, not fair, not just, you have a moral obligation to do something about it. I embrace these words and these philosophies. And this is the way I've seen my role as a board member. In spite of the difficulties of the last 2 years, and that includes previous leadership and undergoing open heart surgery, even though my family wanted me to resign from the board, by the grace of God, I was able to regain my health and complete my full term in office. I'm grateful we have experienced excellent changes in leadership over the last 2 years, district level and board level. Amy Frog and the late Anna Shepard successfully led this district with respect for other board members, expertise, honesty, transparency. I'm so grateful for both of these leaders and friends. I leave this board with a challenge to each of you. There is nothing more important than literacy. Literacy is the cornerstone of all future learning. Just 6 months ago, I funded a trip to New Zealand to study their excellent literacy programs and success rates. New Zealand has a 99% literacy rate. We can learn a lot from them. Just for a few minutes, I want to share a few of my takeaways since this is my last meeting with you. In New Zealand, meaningful, rich literacy experiences occur daily. No scripted curriculum. Teachers are experts in literacy because New Zealand offers opportunities for outstanding, continuous professional development in literacy. It's not a sit and get. But the expectation is that teachers will learn through their PD and then implement that knowledge and those skills within the classroom, and they do. Child-centered education is another important aspect of the New Zealand curriculum. Student-focused curriculum, age-appropriate, meaningful books that relate to students' background, knowledge, and interest. Additionally, students are offered choice. They select the books they want to read from a menu of possibilities. They never employ nonsense words. Teaching skills in isolation is rare. Ample opportunities for students to socialize with their peers occurs daily. They have periods, 45-minute periods of recess, and in some schools, they have 2 periods of 45 minutes of recess. Principals and teachers are clear that students need time to run and play and socialize. When these social, emotional needs are met, students come to class ready to settle down and learn. Another important point, collaboration rather than competition is the rule of the day. Teachers support teachers. Students support each other. Teaching environments are set up so that students have even more opportunities to work together. They employ multi-age classrooms and common areas where students work on real-life projects together. Hands-on experiences are abundant. My visit was in February and March, which was toward the end of their summer. They had only been in school for a few weeks, and fall was approaching. One project for middle school students was to determine the dimensions needed to cover a frame for a greenhouse to prepare for winter. The teachers could have done this. Maintenance could have completed the task, but students got the opportunity to use their skills in literacy and math to complete the project. Social and emotional learning is not delegated for the beginning of the year or taught as a subject. It's lived and experienced throughout the daily curriculum. Students learn social emotional skills because they are immersed in an environment that promotes self-respect and respect for one another. Art is everywhere. The indigenous people are called Maori, and their traditions and language and culture are taught, shared, and valued. Music and creative expressions are abundant. Additionally, many schools have their own swimming pools, and students learn to swim at school. Thank you for allowing me to share some of my experiences from New Zealand with you. But maybe the most important part of my remarks tonight is that I want to tell you why I'm able to leave the board. I'm able to relinquish my seat primarily because of the excellent, capable leadership of Dr. Adrienne Battle. Dr. Battle has a servant's heart. She's not one who touts her achievements in an effort to advance her own career. Dr. Battle is child-centered. She makes the tough decisions with grace and fortitude. She stands up firmly to authorities while always making the right decision for students and teachers. And I have been honored to stand by her side and offer support during these difficult times. I appreciate that Dr. Battle always leads with kindness, poise, and gratitude. Dr. Battle, thank you for the extraordinary opportunity to work with you over the past 17 months. It has truly been a joy, and I appreciate your leadership and the authentic respect you demonstrate daily to our students, teachers, staff, and board members. Please call on me if I can be of assistance in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fearing. All right. Dr. Nava McKinney. Oh, Ms. Bush. I think I forgot, not Dr. Nava McKinney first, but you can go ahead if you.
No,
we'll switch it around.
I'll
It's
wait.
okay.
No, she can go ahead and I'll wait.
Okay, I'm not going to be long at all. I just want to say, Amy and Jill, you are going to be tremendously missed. Thank you so much for your leadership, your cares, your love for our teachers, our parapros, our kids, our parents, the community. The community looks to you for guidance. They look to you for leadership. They look to you for support. And you guys, you surpass that. And I'm so proud not to just call you my colleague, but my friend. So I just want to tell you both, you're not going far. So I know where you live. So I will definitely be right there asking those questions and getting your support as I continue my mission on this board to serve for our families and our students and our teachers and all of our staff. And I just want to tell you that when I got on this board, if it wasn't for you two, I don't know what I would have done, because it was times I was going to throw in that towel and you said no. And because of that, I became stronger and I became wiser.
Fran, I'm so sorry we've lost you during these nice remarks you're making. I think your mic's off again.
Okay.
There it is.
Okay, I know, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
So I'm not sure what part of my love for you, but I just want to tell you guys, thank you for your passion. Thank you for everything. And you are going to be greatly missed. I know you're not going to go far, and I know you're going to be there, but it has been a absolute pleasure to be with you guys on my journey. So thank you. I love you guys. Take care, okay?
Okay. Thank you so much, Fran, for those kind words, and thank you for your support and friendship. We've been through some difficult times together, and I appreciate all you've done to support us. All right, now we're at Dr. Nava McKinney.
Can you hear me? Thank you. Thanks. All right. So thank you to, I just want to take a moment to thank once again, thank our principals, teachers, and support staff, our paraprofessionals, for all of the work they are doing to go above and beyond to meet the needs and support our students and families across the district. I have visited many schools, DuPont Elementary, where I saw teachers go out into, go meet families where they were to support them and provide them the necessary tools that they needed for the families and for students. Also, in talking with several of the principals, just the amount of work that they are doing and how they are so proud of their teachers and their staff, really jumping in where they could complain, but really jumping in on board and working as a team to just meet the needs in these unusual circumstances. I also want to thank parents. I've talked to many parents across my district, really about their concerns, really across MNPS, but specifically my district, about concerns that they were having. But I wanted to acknowledge that even in the concerns that they were having, I heard great things about our teachers and our administrators and our staff and their response, and how it's been warm and welcoming, and they feel like they're being heard across our district. And that to me leads leads me to really applaud Dr. Battle and her leadership as well, and her intentionality and how she's making decisions and doing things for our district. So thank you, Dr. Battle, for your leadership and for your team in making that happen. I know that we are, we still have a lot of challenges and areas that we need to improve across the district, but it's very heartwarming and humbling to see our community really come together for the needs of our families and our students across the district, and really understand and empathize where we all are in this journey to make the best possible education environment for our students. So I want to urge everyone to continue to do this work, to continue to be innovative and finding these ways, and most of all, continue to be just supportive of one another as we're going through those journeys. We're going to have times where we are, where we call it a day. And then we're going to have times where it's going to be an exciting day for us. So just understanding that, and understanding that everybody has different levels of where they are in this journey, and being able to support this. We never thought we'd be in a pandemic. We never thought that we'd have a tornado that kind of tore through our city. And so I think we as a community have really worked together to identify that and really support the needs and look at it really in a equitable fashion. And so I'm really excited and hope to continue to do that work to ensure that every student in our district is receiving the support that they need and the quality learning environment that they deserve. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Buggs.
Yes, thank you. I would like to send congratulations to Mrs. Ashley Croft Callery, the principal at Englewood Elementary School. I got some notes from the parents who were allowed to Zoom in and watch their principal be married about just how excited their students were and how happy they were to share in the moment. So congratulations to you. Thank you for all that you do and all your staff are doing to support that South Englewood neighborhood. I would also like to highlight that Creative Girls Rock, a nonprofit in Nashville, is having a back-to-school backpack bash, a giveaway at McKissick, September 12th at 9:30 a.m. Volunteers are still being accepted, but they are encouraging people to show up that day, receive extra pieces of sanitizer, other school resources that students could use. And then another shout out to My Brother's Keeper and the different reading initiatives that they're looking to support with men of color or just community members during these kind of trying times. And I thank you all for your benevolence and for your thought leading this charge. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Player Peters.
Hello. I just want to thank School Board Member Jill Sperry and Amy Fogg for their service on the school board over their tenure. Being a public servant is not easy. There's a lot of sacrifice it takes from family and career, and just want to acknowledge that for your time on the board and for your service. Good night.
Okay.
Happy retirement.
Thank you, Frida. Thank you. All right, Ms. Poopa Walker. Oh. Is Jeannie still on the call? All right, I'm not seeing her, so I'm gonna wrap up here. I know it's been a long night, but since I've been serving for 8 years, I hope that you will allow me a few moments to make final remarks. I hate that it's on the end of a very long meeting, but here is what I'd like to say. This is my very last meeting after spending nearly a decade on the school board. I think I missed only 4 or 5 board meetings during my entire time as a school board representative. So this board and this school district have truly been my calling and my life's work for the last 8 years. It's been a journey, at times very rewarding and many times challenging. Serving as an elected official is not for the faint of heart. This job often requires grit and determination, as well as a willingness to stand up, sometimes alone, for what is right, no matter the political or personal consequences. As William Faulkner said, never be afraid to raise your voice for honesty and truth and compassion against injustice and lying and greed. If people all over the world would do this, it would change the earth. That's the role of a school board member. We are here not only to serve as liaisons for the community and to build greater support for our schools, but also to protect public education and Nashville's children from greed and outside influence. With the unrelenting creep of privatization interests into, I'm so sorry, this is my dog. Hold on one moment, please. I'm gonna let her out. Go out. Come on. Okay. All right, that was a first. I'm so sorry. All right, with the unrelenting creep of privatization interest into the realm of public education, this will be an ongoing battle, and I hope that our newest board members will continue to stand strong in doing what's best for Nashville's children. I've learned that the problems of the city tend to work themselves out on this board. The board itself is a microcosm of the city, reflecting different viewpoints and backgrounds. Our school system as a whole is a reflection of the health of the city. Something that stuck with me all these years is a casual comment made by a teacher when I first decided to run for school board back in 2012. She said, if everyone just sent their children to public schools, we wouldn't have all these problems. This was a novel idea to me at the time, but I've come to realize its truth. Our school system, although wonderfully diverse, does not serve the majority of Nashvillians. In an increasingly wealthy city, MNPS serves about 75% lower income families. Neither the socioeconomic nor racial makeup of the school system reflect the actual makeup of our city. With greater investment from our larger community, not only of resources, but also of our own children, our school system would look and perform very differently. From the start, I've tried to champion a quote that my friend now has posted on her Facebook page. There's no such thing as other people's children. We are all in this together, and until we are willing to educate our children together, it will be hard to drive real change in schools. As a public school parent myself, who has sent her own children to low-income schools, and as someone who has personally attended public, international, and private schools, I certainly understand the challenges in public education. However, the ultimate solution is for us to rally around our community schools, not to continue to segregate and splinter the system. We certainly have had leadership failures in MNPS, which have helped drive away families and good educators. But with Dr. Battle at the helm, I believe we are in a good position to earn back trust and encourage our families to stay in our public schools. We have yet to tackle the true work of equity in Nashville, although many have give this term political lip service. The Coleman Report, submitted in response to the Civil Rights Act of 1964, was the first to document the achievement gap and continues to provide a viable solution for school districts. The Coleman Report ultimately concluded that socioeconomic diversity in schools is the greatest driver of success, even more so than extra resources or racial diversity, although both are important. At a time when schools remain underfunded, this is one way that MNPS can improve outcomes without additional investment. Coleman contended that what America needs are schools, quote, where children of all different social classes intermingle. There are many ways to undertake this work in MNPS, but our policies have often driven away many middle-class families rather than encouraging them to stay in the district. For example, the changes in our disciplinary policy without proper supports in place drove away many families. Another concern, studies show that charter schools are increasing school segregation. The proliferation of charter schools in Nashville has added to the problem of racial and socioeconomic segregation within our school system. Instead, I hope that MNPS will focus on creating school pathways that increase rather than decrease socioeconomic diversity, that we will re-envision our magnet schools, that we will continue to expand arts and advanced academic programs in all schools, and that we will expand our community school program, which provides wraparound services to students in need. It's also vital for MNPS to support parents working at the ground level to improve their neighborhood schools. This has never really happened in my experience in any area of town. Finally, I hope that MNPS will begin a dialogue with families about what would encourage them to stay in MNPS schools K through 12. There are so many great opportunities for partnerships that we've not yet tapped. I'm proud that during my time on the board, city leaders seem to have collectively reached a turning point about public education. During my early days on the board, I was a laughingstock if I mentioned social emotional learning or the impact of poverty on learning. It was all about so-called, quote, accountability and school competition. Now, however, it seems that the majority of the city and its elected leaders have begun to recognize the need to meet children where they are and to provide all children with the same sort of education they might receive in private schools with much greater resources. In the often quoted words of John Dewey, "What the best and wisest parent wants for his own child, that must the community want for all of its children." I hope that we can all step out of our own selfish interests and advocate for the common good, the greater good, something that seems so lacking in recent days. At this particular time, our city leaders seem to sincerely wish to support our public schools and have come to recognize the vital importance of a thriving public school system. This is truly a wonderful time for the school board. With Dr. Battle leading, we are all finally rowing in the same direction. I have great hope that we will see positive change in upcoming years. Finally, I'd like to thank my constituents and supporters for this journey. I'm deeply grateful for the ongoing support I've received over the years and for the wonderful friendships I have forged through public service. This has been an amazing opportunity and learning experience. I'd also like to thank Abigail Tyler for her willingness to step up and serve as District 9 representative. I know that I'm leaving my seat in capable hands. I will continue to be involved and to advocate at both the state and local level. I'll continue to stay involved in my social media pages, so stay tuned. I'll see all of you around, and I wish this board and Dr. Battle great success in your future work. Nashville is counting on you. And with that, there being no further business, this meeting is adjourned. Bye, everybody.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.